Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Sid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Reality, we need to be talking about the things that American people actually care about. I got to tell you, this is not the subject that I'm asked about. I get asked a lot of questions. Sure, I'm always doing events. I'm always meeting with people. I never get asked about this. I get asked about why is there rising inflation? Why is there a border crisis? What is going on in the Middle East? Why can't we get gas? What is happening to our energy infrastructure? Why can't I hire people? Why are they getting paid by the government to stay at home instead of come to work? These are things that really affect people, not this internal drama. And one of the reasons I agreed to come on your show is basically to say that this isn't that important to people. These are not the phone calls I get about this, about who's the leader of the party, what's happening with Trump. My Republican supporters do not ask me about Trump. They don't ask me about what he said. They're not riled up about it. You know what they're asking about? What are we doing about over 250,000 illegal crossings on our border in the last 2 months?
Dan Crenshaw saying what I've been thinking for quite some time. Welcome into the Annie Fry Show. Happy Monday, Monday, May 17th. That date kind of shocked me when I input it today on a file or something. We're past the halfway point in May. Gosh, Christmas is just right around the corner and I can't wait. So excited. Happy that you're here. Reminder that you can stream us live on the Odyssey app. You can download that to your phone. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you anywhere you go. You can also watch the show on Facebook Live and on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Dan Crenshaw there listing off. I tried to write these things down as he was saying them, but he was going through so many different issues at one time that it was hard to keep up. The break, the divide that exists in the Republican Party, the idea that it is that everybody in the Republican Party is obsessed with where Donald Trump rests. Like, if you're a Republican, well, how do you feel about Donald Trump? That is not what people think about. That is what some people think about, of course. Just like if you wanted to, talk about, if you're talking with somebody who loves baseball and they're a Cardinals fan, there are some people who are going to be obsessed with the fact that Albert Pujols just went to the Dodgers. There's some people who are not going to be able to get over that. But there are other people who realize that the Cardinals are winning the division right now and they're doing pretty great. And Albert Pujols went to the Dodgers. And while it would have been fun and romantic and everything to have him come back and, break a home run or hit 700 home runs in St. Louis, the Cardinals are in first place right now, and they got work to do to continue to, especially if you watch this past weekend. Oof. This is a perfect analogy, in my opinion, to how people feel about Donald Trump. They know he's there. They know he exists. He is a factor. It would change the course of the future of the Republican Party if Donald Trump were involved, and it would change the course of the Republican Party in the future if he's not involved. But right now, we have work to do. And Dan Crenshaw listing there inflation, the border, the Middle East, gas concerns, people worried about the hack that took place on the Colonial Pipeline, energy infrastructure, unemployment benefits, keeping people from going to get paid to go to work. These are the things that people are talking to Dan Crenshaw about. And I have a feeling that if you sat down and talked to anybody who was in the Republican Party, that's the stuff that you would be talking about. Now, I guarantee you, if you sit down and talk to a friend or a family member who watches CNN, is dyed-in-the-wool Democratic Party, couldn't stand Donald Trump, the first thing they're going to talk to you about is Donald Trump. Isn't that weird? Isn't that strange how the future of a political party can be so significantly dictated by the people who aren't in the party? Isn't that a little frustrating? Katie and Ryan in here with me right now. Katie, when you talk to your friends, how frequently, your leftist friends, because you do have friends on both sides of the aisle, how frequently what's the divide there? Is Donald Trump the main source of conversation in both of them, or does he come up more when you're talking to people who are on the left side of the aisle?
He definitely comes up in conversation with both sides, conservative and left leaning, whenever I'm speaking to my friends or family members. He's a name that always comes up. There's never a conversation that doesn't happen that Donald Trump isn't a part of. But I think with this,
just like Donald Trump
once,
likes it.
yes, exactly, just like he wants. But this Liz Cheney stuff is very interesting because I had a couple of friends message me over the weekend just asking what I thought about it. And of course, you know, they stand strongly with Liz Cheney. They don't like Republicans. They'll never be conservative, but they're like, I think Liz Cheney's doing the right thing. And I mean, we hate Donald Trump, so we love what she's saying and blah, blah, blah.
Isn't Liz Cheney just doing the right thing because she's going against Donald Trump? Like,
Yeah.
Isn't Liz Cheney's proximity to Donald Trump the only thing about her that they like?
Well, the rest of this conversation went with, I don't like anything she stands for, and I really don't like her policies because they do seem pretty conservative. But she's doing the right thing when it comes to Donald Trump. And I'm glad that she's standing her ground with the rest of the members of the GOP. And I hope that they see that she's doing the right thing. And it's funny because I don't think any of these people would know who Liz Cheney is without Donald Trump.
Because CNN and MSNBC are obsessed with her for that exact reason. Vicky on our Facebook live feed says, you know who is still talking about Trump? My liberal progressive friends, no one else. And then Matt says on Facebook, DeSantis Crenshaw 2024. That might be my favorite ticket that I've heard so far. Make sure Florida and Texas are well represented in that race. Let's listen to the next clip here from Dan Crenshaw, kind of giving MSNBC the business here.
That's what they're asking about. How is that sustainable? What about my inflation? What about my savings that are now less valuable because of rising inflation, because we're spending money that we don't have? My small business can't hire people because they're getting paid more to stay at home. And we said this would happen. And now our economy isn't recovering. I mean, what do you think about the jobs report recently? If former President Trump asked me, I would say, Mr. President, please keep talking about the border. Please keep talking about these issues. That's what I would say to him. And I speak for my constituents who care about those issues that I've told you about. And I think those are the issues we should be debating on this program. You've got a great show. You got a lot of listeners. Let's debate environmental policy. Let's debate healthcare policy and border policy.
He's so right. And he's so straight to the point. And I think that the key here for Dan Crenshaw in this interview, he said in the first clip there that, you know, he decided to come on to the show specifically so he could get that message across. Republicans, you know, we've seen through the Project Veritas tapes from, you know, some, I don't know which staffer it was that said it, some like executive director or producer or something, suggesting that, you know, the Republicans that go on CNN are the ones that are very easy. They're easy for the hosts and the leftist pundits to kind of railroad over. And so it's probably not a huge compliment to your Republicanism if you're going on these shows on CNN specifically. But Dan Crenshaw needs to be on CNN. He needs to be on MSNBC, and he needs to go on there and do what Democrats do all the time. He needs to get the message out that he wants to get out. Probably won't keep him coming back with a lot of regularity, but answer the questions in the context of the purpose for which you are there, not to spoon feed these leftists who watch this progressive agenda driven media try to continue to stitch together a narrative about what Republicans are, about what Democrats aren't, and to suggest that everything in the Republican world right now revolves around Donald Trump. That's not an accurate statement at all. It's also not the future of the Republican Party. And again, the only place that I hear anybody talking about Liz Cheney is in circles like I'm in right now, choosing to talk about Liz Cheney or not talk about Liz Cheney, and other pundits, another news show who want to make that the epicenter of the Republican Party. The United States right now is on fire with so many different crises that are taking place. So many crises that are a result of the direct opposition to Trump policies that the Biden administration has put in place. The Biden administration has tried to take a hard left turn every opportunity they could get to turn around Trump policies, and it is not going well. So what better than to have an infighting story that you can just go over and over and over on and ignore all of these stories: inflation, the border, the gas shortage, energy infrastructure, unemployment, you know, Dan Crenshaw talking about the illegal crossings going up, the deportations at a record low. This is what Americans care about. Ryan, when you hear Dan Crenshaw kind of switch or flip the script on that, I think it was MSNBC show. I mean, what do you think about that and his presence there?
I mean, he's completely right. That's what people are talking about. I was just in a grocery store this morning, and two people saw each other that I didn't know. They knew each other. A FedEx guy saw a girl that he knew. They started talking. I was listening to their conversation. They're talking about how hard it is to get supplies right now. They're talking about how much they're both working because other people are choosing not to work. That's what people are talking about in conversation. Trump's just not, he's a shadow that may be kind of in the background, but he's not the point of the conversation.
Did you just walk up and stand there while these two people were having a conversation in the grocery store
A little
and take
bit.
notes?
I just happened to
just
be
carry on.
checking out and was privy to.
Okay, the checkout lane makes sense. Anywhere else in the grocery store, maybe waiting for the deli or something like that.
Yeah.
Like two people standing in the cereal aisle, and you just
linger,
awkwardly go.
I heard them talking about this weird guy that wouldn't move on. Oh, interesting.
Man, this is so awkward. I'm going to tell St. Louis about this later. It's completely crazy. Katie, do you want to talk a little bit about the baby pool before we go to break? A reminder, we have Dr. Scott Hardeman coming up. Make sure you are on the live stream here on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. Really looking forward to today's conversation with Dr. Scott Hardeman, which we've been having for a year now, every Monday, about COVID, vaccines, masking, CDC guidelines. Interesting. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to hear what he has to say since we're a half a week away from those drastic CDC changes in their guidelines. So you're going to want to stick around for that. You can comment your questions for the doctor on the live chat. Katie, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So 971talk.com/contest. You're going to see the Annie Fry baby pool. It's the first thing you're going to see when you go to 971talk.com/contests. We want to know what you think is going to happen with baby number 4, baby girl number 4. We need to know the date, the time, the length, and the weight of baby. I almost said width too, Annie. My goodness, it's so tough.
What's the width of the baby?
What is
Hopefully
the width?
Not drastic.
We want to know
Hopefully
those
not wider than length.
4 simple things, right? Those 4 simple things. It's not width, weight. So that's all we need. Those predictions, your first and last name, your email address, and if you win, you get an awesome prize from New Season Spa. It's a sampler package. All of the things that you could win, you get to pick 3 of those things from that sampler package, are listed on the contest page. It's really awesome. They go from facial to pedicure, bikini wax, massage, all the good stuff. And you get to pick 3 of those. Again, that's from New Seasons Spa. Thank you guys so much. And you only have until the 23rd. So that's Sunday, next Sunday. So get in those predictions. Let's give you something to win. We want to, people. And we want to know what you think is going to happen with baby girl number 4. That's the big thing. When is she coming?
Yeah, I went to the contest page, and you can also apparently enter to win Hank Williams Jr. tickets.
I just saw that too. That's really awesome.
So while you're there, enter both things, but definitely enter that baby pool. Want to make sure we get someone a really cool prize. I tell people, if you're listening, I'm due June 17th. That's 31 days from today. And, I can't imagine waiting past June 17th, which should come as a shock to absolutely nobody who listens to this show. Amy says on Facebook, does Annie get to win those services too? Amy, I will get back to you because that is a fantastic
question. Is a good question.
It's a really good question. We're going to talk a little bit later in the show about Katie's big weekend, the big concert that took place on Friday night. I heard all good things. We're going to get her story about how that went down last Friday. Katie, was it the best?
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
We're going to talk about that later in the show. Dr. Scott Hardeman is going to be with us when we come back. He's an ENT and has been weighing in on all things COVID for a year with us, getting the straight medical reaction to what's going on. No politics, no partisanship, just real information for you and your questions answered as well. If you have a question for the doctor, you come onto the Annie Fry Show Facebook page or the Annie Fry YouTube channel, comment your question right there, and we will field as many as we can to the doctor before 1 o'clock. Stick around, more Annie Fry Show in a minute.
Is it too late to tell you that everything means nothing if I can't have
The
you?
Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Diamonds Direct has enough diamonds right now to supply up to 30 ordinary jewelry stores, from a half carat to 10 carats. Rare, precious diamonds in all shapes, straight from the world's best diamond cutters. At Diamonds Direct, diamonds are our business, our specialty, our focus. That's why we can guarantee the best diamond selection and the best diamond prices every day, every week, every year. Diamonds Direct. Get store hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DH Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Finding a dentist is kind of a frustrating thing. Most people aren't really like, oh, let's go get a new dentist to get real excited about it. Dr. Foley, Dr. Freeman, Dr. Amran, and Dr. Costin at Foley Dental Group. Once you get there, I need you to take my word for it. But once you get there, you'll go, this wasn't bad at all. I am looking forward to the next time I get to go to the dentist. The very best in general dentistry, located in Maryville, Illinois, right? Easy to get to on the Illinois side of the river, but people come from all over the bi-state region to go get the best dental care in the region at Foley Dental Group. They are taking new appointments right now, new patients at 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. And when you go to see the Foley Dental Group, they're going to do everything they can to make you excessively comfortable with Netflix at a chair that's going to help calm you. You can pick your show and watch your show while you're getting your dental cleaning, or if you're having some extra work done. A lot of people I know getting their stimulus checks in and getting their tax returns in. Maybe you want to use that to get that dental work you've been postponing. They do crowns in a day, which is fantastic. Their staff is amazing. Like I said, they are the best in dental care. They're kind. It is super clean, a beautiful atmosphere that is made to make you as comfortable as you possibly can. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you go book your appointment. As I said, they are taking new appointments. 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 3 times a week. Yes, 3 times every weekend. Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common-sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101, now 3 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Carry on my wayward son. Don't you cry no more.
Carry on all the way to your locally owned Meineke, your one-stop shop for total car care. With Meineke e-inspection, you'll know the problem and the fix. We'll send real-time updates, photos, and technician notes straight to your phone. Book online today and get a $21.95 basic oil change. Engine, brakes, tires, oil. Meineke, doing car care right. At participating locations, terms and conditions apply.
More people are turning to 97.1 FM Talk every day.
It's the place for ideas.
Thank you for being with us in a time like no other. This is St. Louis's own 97.1 FM Talk.
West
On a plane bound west, I see her stretching out below. Land, blessed motherland, the place where I was born. Scars, yeah, she's got her scars. Sometimes it's.
Are you aware of any fully vaccinated individual who has died of COVID-19?
We do keep a track of this on our website. We are asking hospitals and healthcare facilities to send us cases of what we're calling breakthrough infections. They occur, they are rare. We are aware of 223 as of May 10th that are among the 115 million people that had been vaccinated by that time. I also want to convey that now many hospitals are screening people for COVID when they come in. So not all of those 223 cases who had COVID actually died of COVID. They may have had mild disease, but died, for example, of a heart attack.
So you said 223 cases, but no confirmed deaths of people who are vaccinated from COVID.
I'm sorry, there have been 223 deaths out of 115 million people who have been vaccinated.
That's CDC Director Rochelle Walensky speaking on the question that a lot of people have about what's your risk once you get the vaccine. I want to welcome into the show Dr. Scott Hardeman, who joins us each Monday here. He is an ENT at Gateway ENT, also an urgent specialist. Doctor, welcome back to the show. Always great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Happy Monday, everyone.
Yes, to you as well. So there's a little bit of information that, prepositionally speaking, that was mentioned in that clip there. They distinguish the difference between dying with COVID and dying from COVID. And I'm curious if you can kind of speak to, over the course of time, especially as we have learned a lot in the last year about how this virus works and how it affects people, the measurement that has been used to indicate how many deaths have been from COVID over the course of time, has that included also people who died? You know, we've heard of people, you get in a car accident, you had COVID, and the car accident is what killed you. Previously, was that considered a COVID death? Is it still considered a COVID death?
Well, that has been kind of an ongoing discussion, and I think the data on that is clearing up as we move a little bit further along. It was interesting that I hadn't heard that clip until just now. Interesting they made that distinction because that's been a topic we've talked about. I think the general premise behind the recording data is that the death certificate, if it lists that it's the principal cause of death, that they're counting those. But there are cases that we've known about over the last 14 months or so, where people were recorded as having a COVID-related death, where they may have come in for something else and were diagnosed with coronavirus or COVID and died. I think the objective ultimately has always been, and it will continue to certainly be so now, is to identify those folks where COVID was the principal cause of death. But, a lot of these folks that have to pass away as a result of this illness, it's, 3, 4, 5 weeks out from the initial onset, and it's pneumonia related, it's multi-organ system damage, et cetera. These folks that have a lot of other comorbid issues, it gets a little bit murky there as far as which is the thing that actually was the event that led to their passing. But most of the folks that came in these cases, I think that are recorded, largely the initial presenting diagnosis was a COVID-related pneumonia or a COVID-related onset of illness. Going forward, it'll be a little difficult to know. Now, one thing that they announced last week was that they're going to start changing the recording data to some degree on post-COVID vaccination breakthrough symptom or infections, that they're going to only record deaths and hospitalizations related to those versus those that are out in the community. I've not seen that listed elsewhere many places, but that will be interesting to see how they start to tabulate all this information in these post-vaccine breakthrough infections that are out there. And we'll see more over time, I think, just because more and more people are getting vaccinated.
Since we're on the topic, Dr. Hardeman, one of those internet things that you see on and off, and I have no idea if there's any truth to it, so that's why I'm presenting it to you. Maybe you can clear it up for us, is that hospitals that accepted COVID patients would get more money if it was COVID listed on the death certificate. Was there any truth to that?
Yeah, I think there is some truth to that. I think that hasn't really been discussed or talked about in quite a long time, but certainly last summer when we were seeing that initial sort of peak of cases that carried into the fall, I think that there is a mechanism in place for the hospitals to be compensated differently through Medicare and through some of the other insurers for folks that had COVID as their principal diagnosis that was there. I haven't seen recent information on that, but I would assume that there's still some related charge structure that goes along with that. Yes.
This Monday, as he does each Monday, to give us some medical approach to COVID. And what we've been hearing, certainly last week was a gigantic week for a shift with the CDC guidelines. You joined us Thursday after that announcement was made. I'm curious, a few days after it has happened, and I'm seeing, we talked about this just within our own show, a lot of people who are like, that's great, I'm still going to wear my mask. Some people who are suggesting they're going to always wear a mask. They feel comfortable with it. They're going to continue on doing that. I'm curious who you suggest exists out there who you would advise. It'd be good for you to still wear a mask when you go out in public.
Well, of course, the position on that from folks that are unvaccinated and young kids at this point, but that one's kind of written out there. I think the question really also is who of potentially even the vaccinated individuals could this be of benefit to? There's a lot of anxiety and fear and stress associated with the last year, and I think there are certain individuals and groups of people that are still very concerned, and they feel that even with the vaccine and the data that shows very, very low risk of contracting the illness, getting severely ill with it, or transmitting to others, that they may feel more comfortable. The group largely that comes to mind, I think, are those that perhaps may not mount a strong immune response. So immunocompromised individuals, transplant recipients who are on immunocompromisation drugs. There's different groups of folks who may be at higher risk, but you have to always carry that out to the big picture, which is the positivity rate in an area. I mean, in Missouri now we're down less than 4% positivity rate on all the testing that's being done. I think it's 3.8% this morning. So that just means that the penetration into the population of folks that you may come in contact with is going to be low, period. And then you factor in the large number of people who've been vaccinated, that they're very, very unlikely to transmit that to anyone. And then, of course, all the individuals that we know that have had this that should have some short-term protective immunity towards it as well. So the groups that really come to mind, I think, would be those that are immunocompromised, or quite honestly, people that are just fearful of this, that they need to have as low a risk as possible associated with it.
We got to sift through the politics so often when we talk about CDC data, unfortunately, and this is no different when we talk about removing of masks. They've come out hard and said, yeah, but kids should not stop wearing masks to school, even in the fall already.
Yeah.
What's the science there?
Yeah, I guess I would have kind of a difference of opinion on that, and this is where it gets into a little bit of a gray zone too. But kids, this has been, for the schools that have been in session, I applaud the school nursing staff, the administration, for all the efforts that they've done to keep the kids safe and keep them there. But we have real data out there now to show that there haven't been these large groups of transmissions. The aerosolization of the virus, the big question mark is what role masks really have if someone is truly asymptomatic, or if they just have very low viral loads there. And, I don't know that I think the jury is still out on that to some degree. I'm kind of in the mindset that I'd love to see these kids without masks on their face. The teachers are vaccinated. There's low risk of kids getting this, of them getting ill with it, and of also transmitting it to other people. And if the vaccines work the way they seem to be shown to do, is that if you're vaccinated and even were to come in contact with someone, that the likelihood of you catching that is the breakthrough case is very low. And if you did, it's going to be a very mild case at that point. So I think I hope that position reverses to some degree, and that we see these kids, certainly the younger kids, say 14 or 15 and less, back in school without their masks on, being able to socially interact with one another the right way.
We've come such a long way with what we've learned, what we have been afraid. You talked about that fear that existed before. That certainly was there for everybody at the onset of this. We didn't know what we didn't know, and that's usually where fear comes from. We've talked about comorbidities over the course of time. We've learned more about this virus. Who poses, this far in with vaccines and being available to everybody, who is left that poses the greatest risk of having a severe reaction to getting COVID?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think that in theory, the folks that are above 55 to 60, 65 years of age, which are the highest percentage of mortality is taking place, and that's not even co-adjusted for comorbidities. Once that happens, it's even a stronger percentage, like around 80% or so of the fatalities have been in that age group. And with comorbid issues, if you factor in that those groups of individuals are vaccinated, and assuming that the vaccine is effective, which largely it seems to be, there of course are always exceptions to everything, but it seems to be, the push is to move it into the younger population vaccination and probably will be studied even down younger age group as well. But to a really large degree, I think that's the reason we're just seeing the numbers drop precipitously in the United States right now is because effectively the most vulnerable have been vaccinated and or have had this and had one outcome or another to it. So we're not free from all of this at this point, but it definitely seems as if we've turned the corner. I think that the overall numbers were down around 20 to 23% as far as this case numbers last week, 7 days versus the preceding 7 days. And mortality is falling not quite the same rate, but along with that. And that should be a really good indication that we're heading in the right direction. I know I said several times, I think the next couple of weeks will tell. I think we really are at that point that if these trends continue, I really hope we're on the fast track to getting off the freeway on this.
Real quick before we go to break, I want to remind people that you can add your questions to the live chat here on our Facebook page, the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, or the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Your questions for the doc when we come back. We're going to field as many of those as we can. For those people who are at risk, there's also a lot of chatter out there, a lot of noise about the potential dangers of getting the vaccine. I'm curious what numbers you look at, what statistics you're looking at. Are there deaths that are related to getting the vaccine specifically that you are able to track? How do you react to those people who might have that apprehension or fear for getting the vaccine?
Well, certainly the data that's on the vaccine adverse events recording site, or VAERS, is available to the public to look at. The big question mark there, and that's been a database that's been kept by HHS since the early 90s for all vaccines, not just related to this. And it is, it's very interesting to see. I mean, this is a huge, monumental vaccine effort with many, many people getting vaccinated in a short period of time. But the question mark is how accurate that is. There's estimates that perhaps it captures only a small percentage of all the adverse events. The short-term stuff is not the stuff I think folks worry about. There is a little apprehension to that as far as just, the side effects from getting first and then the second dose of vaccine. And of course, there are those who get the first vaccine and then perhaps choose to not get the second one because of the fear of a concern there. But the big issue, I think, related, there are some deaths associated with it. I think the run up to it, I've seen it around 2 to 250 or so deaths associated with the vaccine. There's a number of hospitalizations that have taken place. Their adverse events can be significant, but they seem to be on a large scale, relatively few and far between at this point. It's just we're in some uncharted territory there, and I think people having a little bit of apprehension towards this is not surprising, and is probably well-founded, but they have to weigh their own individual risk of potentially contracting coronavirus and what that means to them versus the low likelihood of adverse events, big picture with the vaccine. And then, of course, there's a whole issue of long-term safety data that you can extrapolate from short-term into long-term, and it appears to be good and safe, but we really don't have a tremendous long-term longitudinal study on this. We'll continue to follow that over a couple of years' time.
Dr. Hardeman joining us right now, as he does each Monday. We're going to take a quick break. Your questions we will field to the doctor as soon as we come back. We spend the entire next segment. We do this each and every Monday at about 12:45. Take your questions from the live chat that exists on our Annie Frey Show Facebook page or the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Comment your question, and we will get to as many as we possibly can. We look forward to seeing what you want to know, and sometimes those questions are repeats, but if they're repeats, that's probably because more people want to know about it, and they might have missed the last time we asked it. So feel free to ask your questions there on the live chat. Quick break. When we come back, more with Dr. Scott Hardeman.
The place where I was born. Scars. Yeah, she's got her scars. Sometimes it starts to worry.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I don't wanna
follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
From the man.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
George Weber, if you want music on the radio like it used to be, where the DJs played what they wanted and then talked about it, tune in to my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night at 9 p.m. on the Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest music show on a talk station in the world.
It's one of those weird times of the year in St. Louis where it's kind of chilly during one portion of the week and then it gets warm. Make sure your air conditioner is working correctly. If you need help with that, Air Comfort Service is waiting for your phone call. They've been a fantastic supporter of my show here on the Andy Fry Show, but of 97.1 for a very long time. They are one of you. And when you are looking for somebody you can trust to come out to your house to assess your situation, if you're having trouble, or just to make sure that you get the maintenance done that you need to on your HVAC system so you don't, incur any of those costly repairs in too early of time, call Air Comfort Service and schedule your appointment today. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Through the end of May, take advantage of $50 to $1,650 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying HVAC systems. Plus, this is a great opportunity, up to 72 months, 0% financing. Air Comfort Service works very hard to make sure they can get you in your comfort zone in a way that is comfortable also to your budget, not just the temperature of your home. They've done it for my home, and I would say call them to do it for yours as well. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
The button, a symbol of things made easier. Before buttons, things were much harder. Like pull starting an outboard motor.
Come on, you. Come on, you. Come on. Okay, this time you're gonna start. Come on.
Or manually opening a garage door.
Oh no, my back.
Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Come to the Enchanted Attic. Come to the Enchanted Attic. Come to the Enchanted Attic, and the mysteries of life shall be revealed. Gaze into a crystal ball to see your future. Breathe in the exotic fragrances of incense, candles, and essential oils. Adorn your body with jewelry encrusted with mystical gemstones from around the world. Why many who enter the magical realm of the Enchanted Attic feel as though they have entered another dimension in time and space. But actually, in reality, they have just entered 304 South Main Street in historic St. Charles, home of the famous Enchanted Attic. This is Diane, and you need to come to the Enchanted Attic. It's mystical, magical, and a whole lot of fun. Open every day, free gift with purchase. You'll love this store.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk and stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community. It's all through the new Odyssey app, where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Two of us riding nowhere, spending someone's hard-earned pay. You and me Sunday driving, not arriving on our way back home. On our way home, on our way home, we're going home.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We are joined now, as we are each Wednesday, by Dr. Scott Hardeman. He's a physician at Gateway ENT, also an urgent specialist. Doctor, you ready for some listener questions?
I am. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start with Don, who is on our YouTube channel, the Annie Fry YouTube channel. He says, do I wear the mask to protect myself or to protect others?
Well, so let's wind back the hands of time, back to last spring when masks were originally thought to be not very beneficial, and then the CDC pivoted position on that. The real benefit, I think, to masks are largely as a source control if you're ill, to not cough on other individuals or to potentially slow the spread of transmission. For the average mask that's out there, low-grade medical mask or cotton cloth mask, the N95 masks or the better filtration masks reverse that role. They sort of take on that capacity, but also have the ability to protect the wearer as well. There's some data to show that wearing a mask protects you as an individual, but largely I think it really is more to help if you're ill to not pass virus or other respiratory issues on to other folks.
This question is from Christopher from the Annie Fry Facebook stream. In this same respect, how does COVID right now compare to any given flu season?
More so. I think, influenza this year, obviously, we talked about the numbers have plummeted, and there's a lot of theories of why that's happened. But COVID this year would be worse than most of the significant flu seasons that are out there. It's also lasted longer, too. That's the flu influenza season generally runs from around November-ish through March or so, and then sort of goes dormant or dies off until the next season. This has been kind of an ongoing issue. But you still look at it on a year-by-year basis, and so the numbers of COVID are definitely higher than influenza.
Jackie says it should no longer be considered a pandemic in our country to keep us under a state of emergency. How long, what is a pandemic? How long do we call this a pandemic, and when do we get to not be in a pandemic?
I don't know the answer to that last question. I'm not sure when that's going to be determined. When it's affecting multiple sites across the world in such a way that it is, and there's still a significant transmission rate that's out there, they're going to keep the pandemic status in place like that. We really have pockets or isolated areas in the country now where there's still cases, but it does seem to be, day by day it's always different, but it does seem to be the trend has been rapidly decreasing. So I have a feeling it's going to be quite some time until they stop calling it a global pandemic, just for obvious reasons, but we're still there now.
Dr. Scott Hardeman, physician at Gateway ENT and urgent specialist. This question is from Richard. Based on science, how did we go from wearing masks to no masks in 48 hours?
That is an excellent question. I think two things. Okay. I think number one, well, let me back that up and say maybe three things. One is, if you'll recall, shortly before that big announcement, there was this sort of breaking news that studies have now shown that the virus is aerosolized, that it's less droplet transmission, less on surface, et cetera. We've known that, right? Any logical thinking individual kind of knows that that's the case. They're suspended small particles. So the filtration capacity of these masks obviously is not great with small particles like that. So that's part one. Part two is that we reached a point where around 50% of the population has been vaccinated. And of course, they're not really talking about this, but there is an element of the individuals who've had this and convalesced. All of that together decreases the positivity rate, decreases the transmission, and the raw numbers that are down. And so, and then the data on the masks, the real world data showing less symptomatic cases, less severe illness, less asymptomatic transmission. All of that together, I think, puts in a position where you say those that are vaccinated, effectively, they essentially pose no risk to others or to themselves at this point of being vaccinated. And they didn't make the specific statement that you could only be unmasked around other vaccinated individuals. They said you can be unmasked, period, if you've been vaccinated, which the implication there is that you really can be around folks that if they haven't had it and that you stand a low likelihood of contracting it from them. And if you did, it's a very mild illness.
This goes perfectly into Larry's question, which is one we've addressed before, but it's one that continues to come up. Is natural immunity from surviving, he puts that in quotes, COVID, not sufficient?
Well, I think, there's sort of an official position on that based in the strong neutralizing antibodies that are produced through vaccination. And then there's sort of the logical intuition from that is that we haven't seen massive numbers of breakthrough cases in those, because there's, officially 35, 40 million people in this country that have had this and convalesced or had this at some point. But we know there's a lot more. We're not capturing all of those. And so I think that natural immunity to this on some levels potentially could be equally efficacious. You develop antibodies and immune response to the virus as a whole versus specifically to the spike protein that the vaccines are engineered towards. I think the jury is still out to some degree on how long that lasts, what long-term immunity looks like. And the other part that we've kind of talked about, which I think is a real concern, is that we know lots of folks who've said, well, I had this and may not have amounted much of an immune response, or they may be a year into it at this point. And it's every day is uncharted territory on that, how long the immunity lasts. But I definitely, there's plenty of solid evidence out there that supports the fact that having this in convalescent in a healthy individual, that you have, at least in the short term, a good immune protection against getting a second case of this and moving forward.
From the Annie Fry Facebook stream, question from John. What is the anticipated timeline for FDA approval for these vaccines? Is it possible they will never be fully approved?
I think they will be. The requirements for the EUA, emergency use authorization in this case, are the safety data obviously still is evaluated in the short term. The efficacy is evaluated, but the longitudinal nature of looking at safety is going to be an ongoing problem or ongoing study for at least a couple more years. I think they will eventually get FDA approved. There's some indication or some hints out there that some of these companies, Pfizer, Moderna, may try and receive full FDA approval by the end of summer. I'd be a little surprised if that happens. I think that will be about 1 year from the onset of the phase 3 clinical trials. And while that's a good bellwether of things for long-term safety, I think it may be a bit longer before that actually happens. But ultimately, I think they will.
Here, I'm going to give you a scenario here from Eric on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. And just kind of, if you were this person's doctor, how would you advise him? He says, I'm on the fence getting the shot. My wife got it and is upset that I won't get it. I have a good immune system and never get sick. Don't want to upset the balance. The flu shots make me feel sick.
Well, I don't know much about the person's individual health. I think generally speaking, this is something that largely, I think the vast majority of the population is eventually going to get to a point where we're getting vaccinated for one reason or another, whether it's personal concerns, whether it's job related, proof of vaccination for travel, and the list goes on and on and on. And that's a whole other topic. But, the relative risk for a young, healthy individual of having a poor outcome from this is exceptionally low. Each person has to kind of weigh that. I still think that vaccinations in general have been, great for the quality of health in the world overall. And I think the concern over this is that it's just somewhat of a new technology. If this is an individual who has historically gotten the flu vaccine in the past, if they had poor outcomes, we have to look at this a little differently. It's definitely a different type of vaccine. So I still think that the path forward and the position with this is developing immunity, be that through natural infection or through getting vaccinated. And as other vaccines, if they're uncomfortable with this disease, as other vaccines come along the pipeline here in the not too distant future, they'll have other options to choose from as well that may make them feel more comfortable.
It's been a little while since we've hit this topic, Dr. Hardeman, but with the mask change of last week, I wanted to ask it again just to be sure. Asymptomatic spread, is that still a thing, or is that a no, or is it somewhere in between?
I think it's somewhere in between. Generally, I think the likelihood of high numbers of asymptomatic spread has always been low. Initially, when we talked about this, we thought that 50-60% of cases could be that. And that's really not played out to be the case. There's a little bit of unknown in there. And I think there's some nomenclature of asymptomatic spread versus pre-symptomatic. Pre-symptomatic, we know, is a real thing, right? It's someone who gets exposed. They're going to get sick. They just haven't manifest symptoms that are recognizable at that point. They can pass it to someone else in that early phase of viral replication. Versus a true asymptomatic case where someone never develops any symptoms whatsoever. I'm not super convinced that those numbers are very high. The numbers have ranged as high as 50% in some studies to as low as about 7 to 10% in other studies. And it's difficult really to know for certain, but I think it just stands to reason that being a respiratory illness that causes the degree of symptoms that this one has been shown to cause, that, the likelihood of having something that you're completely asymptomatic from, those are probably pretty low numbers in the grand scheme of things.
Doctor, one more question here from Don on YouTube. He says, how long will it be before we know the long-term data of those sick from COVID and from the vaccine?
3 to 5 years, probably. And there'll be look backs constantly on that. I mean, this like any other, or like no other, has been under the microscope like crazy. So there's observational studies that are ongoing now, and retrospective studies, and there's prospective studies. But I think long term, it'll take probably 3 to 5 years to get a real clear picture as we look back on this pandemic, like we did the Spanish flu and other pandemics that have been around, to really know for certain.
Doctor, lots of people commenting again today that this is their favorite segment we do all week. So we want to make sure we pass along their gratitude, ours as well, for giving us the straight facts. It's always great to speak with you. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Dr. Scott Hardeman is a physician at Gateway ENT. He is also with Urgent Specialists and has been with us now for over a year, about 13 months or so, giving us just straight to the point medical reaction to everything else that's going on. And I personally have just really appreciated being able to have a conversation about something that doesn't have all the extra noise, because every single one of these questions that we're asking, whether it's our questions or it's your questions that you pose on our live chat on our Facebook feed or the Annie Fry YouTube channel, they can all immediately take a political turn. There's the medical facts to it, and then there's what we do with it. And I just am very grateful that he's given us so much of his time. I'd encourage you to go to urgentspecialist.com to check out the best in urgent care in the bi-state region. Like I always say, you probably don't need urgent care right now at this moment. If not, get on with it and get to urgent care, urgent specialists, and you can check them out online at urgentspecialist.com. We're going to come back with Stephen Moore, who's going to talk to us about the shaky economy that is in front of us. What's Biden going to do? Making some announcements about more tax breaks here just in the past hour. Stephen, when we come back.
Everybody wants the economy to grow, right? But how do you feel about officials in effect giving your tax money to developers for their private projects? In the past 15 years, the city of St. Louis alone has diverted $709 million to developers in tax subsidies or abatements. That was money that would have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. Even worse, numerous studies around the country show these kinds of subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. There's nothing wrong with developers wanting to build new shopping centers or company headquarters, but why should they get tax subsidies to do so? If it's a good business idea, great, but let them assume the risks as well as any possible rewards. It's time to reform economic development subsidies in Missouri. Learn more in our 2021 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Stewart's American Mortgage, my friend Stewie, waiting for your phone call or your text. I asked him for permission a while ago. I said, can I have my people text you? Because I think some of my people are texters. I'm a texter. And he said, yeah, have him text me. Just mention that you heard about him on the Annie Fry Show and you're interested in a bagel loan. 314-324-4440. That's his personal cell phone number. They go straight to Stewie's phone, whether it's in his pocket or on his desk right now. You can ask him how the bagel loan will help you. 314-324-4440. Let me give you a quick precursor. If you were looking to buy a home and you're taking out a loan for $200,000 or more, how about no lender fees, no closing costs, no title fees, no costs at all? That sounds great, right? It's going to make you a more competitive buyer if you're looking to refinance your home and your loan is at $200,000 or more. Get your rate lowered and save money with the bagel loan. You are going to get to do that with no lender fees. It doesn't cost you anything. They don't hide them. They don't exist. You just get to refinance your home at a lower rate. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Hi, this is Andrea from Best Buy Flooring. Are you fed up with those old, worn-out, ugly floors? Let us show you our huge selection of carpet, vinyl, tile, laminate, and hardwood, all in stock. Can't find it here? We can special order your dream floor. Need it installed? Let our professional installers do it for you. We have the lowest prices in town. Open daily, 2 locations, Hazelwood, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Online at bestbuyflooringstl.com. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Hi, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment. Do you have a warm heart and a caring soul? Are you really devoted to being able to help others? Give us a call at Comfort Care 314-965-9600. Let us help you turn your dreams into reality as you help our friends, our families, and our clients live their best lives possible. Remember, 314-965-9600.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
COVID cases are down in all 50 states. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That progress report moments ago from President Biden, who's just announced that the AstraZeneca vaccine made in the U.S. will be sent around the world, 80 million doses. That vaccine isn't approved yet for use in the U.S. Businesses around the country still adjusting to new CDC guidance that vaccinated Americans no longer need to mask up in most places.
Today, several major American chains are lifting their mask mandates. We're talking about Starbucks, Walmart, Costco, no longer going to require that customers wear their masks. But other outlets like CVS and Home Depot, they're not changing their plans, at least not yet.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. The Organization of American States has just labeled Hamas a terrorist organization, citing attacks on the civilian population in Israel. Israel is facing criticism over civilian casualties in Gaza, but blames Hamas and other militants for hiding in and firing rockets from civilian areas. The White House says it's taking an intensive and quiet approach to the conflict. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has this live.
Lisa, with President Biden facing increasing pressure from Democrats to publicly call for an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, the White House is opting for a measured approach. Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president has had numerous phone conversations behind the scenes.
Weighing in with our important strategic partnership we have with Israel, also with other countries in the region, is the most constructive approach we.
Psaki says every action the administration takes is with the objective of reducing violence and bringing an end to the conflict. Lisa?
Thanks, Rachel. A former tax collector and associate of Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz pleads guilty in a sex trafficking case. Joel Greenberg agrees to cooperate with federal investigators who are reportedly also probing allegations against Gaetz. The congressman has flatly denied any wrongdoing and has not been charged. America is listening to Fox News.
I hate Tom's Tulip Shop. It just smells so flowery. Like we're good at your flower shop. You don't need to remind us.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
I needed a fake plant. They don't sell fake plants. Thanks for nothing, Tom.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Then he says, have a great day. I'll decide what kind of day to have.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tena Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tenasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tena.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We are definitely stuck in an unsettled and rather wet weather pattern. It continues on this Monday afternoon. Lots of clouds, scattered showers, windy, 75 for the high. Tonight, same story. Clouds, scattered showers, 62. Tuesday, same story. Clouds, scattered showers, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, 75. And Wednesday, yeah, that's right, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms near 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 97.1 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
If you're looking to replace some flooring in your house, or if you're looking to maybe finish a portion of your house, I need you to check out igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com. That is the Michael's Flooring outlet website, and you will be able to check out their beautiful flooring options right there on the website. There's something here that I really appreciate. I'm on it right now, igotfloored.com. Under products, it says in stock products. Right now, it's hard to find stuff that's in stock in a lot of places. Michael's has a huge selection available for you, and you can shop those in stock products right from the comfort of your phone, of your office, your desk, your living room, wherever you are. igotfloored.com is the website. They also have free in-home estimates available for you, and you can check out their it says here, great selection of in-stock products ready for next day install. Next day install, you are speaking my language. I'm the type of person who, when I decide I want it, I'm ready to get it. And right here. Michael's Flooring Outlet can do that for you. If you want to go in and touch, feel, and walk on the different products that they have available for you, visit them in St. Peter's and Dardine Prairie and also in Creve Coeur. But like I said, you can go online right now at this moment and see all of this beautiful, beautiful flooring for your home at igotfloored.com.
Have you noticed lately all the mom and pop home buyers popping up everywhere? They all say the same thing, how they'll buy any house in any condition for cash and close quickly. So who should you trust? How about America's #1 home buyer, HomeVestors, also known as the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We've purchased over 95,000 houses, ugly or not, since 1996. We can make you an all-cash offer on the spot for your house that you can count on. Call 800-44-BUYER or go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Each franchise office is independently owned and operated.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
If it's happening in the world, the country, or the community,
This is an exciting and powerful moment.
then it's happening here.
Your health and how soon you return to normal life before the pandemic are in your very capable hands.
This is where St. Louis comes to talk, and you've made it the #1 talk station in St. Louis.
2 weeks after your last dose, you can shed your mask.
97.1 FM Talk, the place for ideas. Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on a Saturday, and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
So first I want to convey that we are not saying that everybody has to take off their mask if they're vaccinated. And it's been 16 months that we've been telling people to mask, and this is going to be a slow process. The other thing is that every community is not the same. Not all communities have vaccination rates that are high, not all, and some communities still have case rates that are high. So these decisions have to be made at the community level. But what we're saying to those essential workers is that if those workers are vaccinated, they are safe. So we are really asking the businesses to work with their workers to make sure that they have the paid time off to get themselves vaccinated so they can be safe.
So, we got these big CDC guidelines last week. We just got done speaking with Dr. Scott Hardeman for a couple of segments. Highly recommend, if you missed it, that you podcast the show. Annie Fry Show is available on the Odyssey app. You can search the podcast there for Annie Fry. My last name is spelled Frey, or anywhere you get podcasts. Likely, you can get the Annie Fry Show podcast there and hit up the Dr. Scott Hardeman segment of that show. We're going to connect with Stephen Moore here in a bit, but before we do, I'm going to get to some of these guidelines here, courtesy of KMOV here in St. Louis. Have you guys, or Katie, you're in Missouri, Ryan is in Illinois like I am, and we still have our mask guidelines in. And I will tell you this, I was listening to Outnumbered on Fox before the show started. It seems as though there was very little to no communication from the CDC to governors ahead of time of this massive guideline change. Mm-hmm. So I guess, mark the tape in a little bit of deference to JB Pritzker. They didn't know this was coming yet, but the mask mandate, he tweeted out on May 13th that they would be adjusting the guidelines. He's still an overlord. So get rid of that freaking mask mandate and let us make some of our own decisions. But Katie, do you feel, you're in St. Charles County? Is that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like this announcement changes anything there at all, or were they there already? Are they just kind of catching up to St. Charles County?
I think St. Charles County was already there. I will say that there are probably going to be many more stores that are going to be relaxed about who wears a mask and probably taking down the sign saying masks are required. So I do see that move happening in St. Charles, but we've already kind of been there.
Yeah. So here's the list from KMOV. They've kind of compiled this, so props to them for doing so. Schnucks says fully vaccinated customers do not have to wear masks, but employees still do for now. Deerberg says it is sorting through the new guidelines and will provide an update on its mask policy soon. Ted Drews, customers must wear a mask when ordering at the window. Six Flags saying masks are still required for now. St. Louis Symphony says masks are still required, but it does not have a show again until the fall, so the policy could change before then. That's kind of funny. The aquarium, the St. Louis Aquarium, fully vaccinated customers and employees and kids are not required to wear a mask. St. Louis Art Museum, visitors 9 and older who are unvaccinated must wear a mask. Magic House, unvaccinated adults should wear masks. Kids are not required to wear them. Muni reevaluating its policy in light of the new health guidelines, so they don't have anything yet. Busch Stadium says fully vaccinated fans do not need to wear a mask. Enterprise Center says currently masks are still required. City Museum guests 9 and up and employees need to wear a mask. The Science Center says vaccinated guests don't need to wear a mask. Unvaccinated people need a mask. Now in Missouri, I'm pretty sure you can't ask, right? Wasn't that something that was specified in Missouri? Certainly not the case in Illinois.
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as they continue to float around that idea of the Vax Pass that got pushed back very, very heavily initially, but that was before we created two sets of rules, one for vaccinated people and one for unvaccinated people. I feel for these businesses. Like, I know that there are people who are hearing this list here and going, Schnook saying, fully vaccinated customers do not have to wear masks, but employees still do. This is a really, really tight needle to thread for a business that's responsibility is to make money so they can stay in business and to make sure that they are not putting themselves in a position. I'm sure that there are many of you listening right now who would just absolutely love to see signs on doors that say no masks allowed. That is not the best business decision for these people to engage in moving forward. I would say that the best business decision is to kind of allow people to police themselves. But no matter what these businesses do, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, aren't they? There's nothing that they can choose to do that's going to appease everybody. And especially with the CDC having been so flip-floppy and non-science based on their indications of how they're choosing to recommend this stuff to people. I feel bad for them.
I feel bad for people working like as waiters also, or like the bus boy or people in fast food that, they're just following the orders, whether it be they can choose to not wear a mask or if it's very strict policy with where they're working to say like, you must wear a mask until we say not to. These people have been working almost throughout the pandemic. They got fired from their job and are now just getting brought back on. And they're probably going to go through something pretty tough with people going into their store, criticizing them for wearing a mask or criticizing them for not wearing a mask, whatever the policy dictates that they're working from. So I think about all of those workers that are either just coming back to work or have been considered essential that are just going to go through all of the motions again with everybody questioning the decisions that they're going to have to make.
100 million. Yeah, listen to this tweet yesterday from Greg Abbott, who's the governor of Texas. This is tweeted out last night. Today, Texas reported 0 COVID-related deaths. The only time that's happened since data was tracked in March 2020. The fewest COVID cases, in over 13 months. The lowest 7-day COVID positivity rate ever. The lowest COVID hospitalizations in 11 months. Thanks, Texans. This is when Joe Biden reacted to Texas's, mask mandate coming off and everybody was freaking out about it, which I would remind everybody, you can still wear a mask. You can wear a mask to bed at night in your apartment by yourself. You can do whatever you want. It was called Neanderthal thinking. Like, how ignorant is that statement? Completely not based in science, completely based in fear mongering to make people feel a certain way by scaring them, saying, look at this ridiculous move that Texas is making. Texas, this big red state, let's keep it red as long as we can, folks, choosing to not force people to wear masks anymore. Look what they're doing to their own people. And here, Texas is reporting 0 COVID-related deaths yesterday. That's a fantastic piece of information. It should be celebrated. I mean, what is with the fear peddling, and how are they losing their grip on it? Or, I mean, I'm seeing people tighten down pretty hard on the mask thing. Like we said last week, it's like wearing the "hate has no home here" sign on your face. Wearing that mask is a political statement to people, infinitely more now than I feel like people are actually wearing it because they're afraid of, the Godzilla of pandemic viruses coming to get them in the night.
Yeah, Texas is not a small state either. That's not exactly like Montana reported no deaths yesterday. Like, Texas is a very, very populous state. So that's really saying something, especially in light of all the politics that have gone into those decisions and reactions to those. We're really in a unique spot here too. Here, there's not a lot of spots where two states are so different like Illinois and Missouri are. Usually there's like this culture around masks, but we're kind of torn. If you're in Missouri, you're probably not going into Illinois a lot, but those of us in Illinois go into Missouri, and the culture clash is so strange. And so when you get things like the CDC coming out last week and saying, well, we recommend no masks if you're fully vaccinated, or you can decide your own fate, it really creates kind of a weird bubble zone where nobody really knows what to do. And I would say that's even more heightened right here on this border state that we're in.
Mm-hmm. According to this Fox News article, Biden told reporters, I think it's a big mistake. Look, I hope everybody's realized by now these masks make a difference. We are on the cusp of being able to fundamentally change the nature of this disease because of the way in which we're able to get vaccines in people's arms. Is Biden going to come out and admit that his commentary on this issue was entirely wrong? I mean, 100% completely inaccurate. And when we have a leader, somebody who you're supposed to be able to look to, who you can trust for straight information, I think we're all past that in the political world that we all live in right now. Both sides of the aisle do it. It gets to the point where it's just noise. It's just sound. And you have to ask yourself, when the person is talking to me on the TV screen or on the radio or wherever it is you're consuming them, on your phone, on a mobile app, in a social media stream, in a tweet, what do they want? Like, what do you get? If I do what you're advising that I do, what do you get from it? And the amount of fear peddling and fear mongering that has been engaged upon with this particular virus really discounts the idea that the virus, for a lot of people, that the virus is a very real thing and it can affect you. Katie, are you 100% back taste and smell yet?
No.
Mm-mm. So you had COVID at the end of October into November. Mm-hmm. It is coming towards the end of May, and Katie is still living the effects of COVID. It's a real thing. I mean, Katie would never come on here and tell people to not take this seriously. We've never done that.
Absolutely. I think that's why I've been so annoyed. I've been so annoyed by the Facebook statuses and the tweets and the text messages and the conversations that are just like, we reach these milestones and yet we can't even be happy that we've reached the milestones. And I had COVID. Ryan had COVID. Like you just said, Annie, I'm considered a long hauler because I still don't have taste and smell back. Things still taste weird to me or smell weird to me. So the effects are real. I get it. And luckily enough, mine weren't, I wasn't bedridden or anything worse happening to me. Thank God. But on these wonderful things that are happening, that are supposed to be encouraging, that are supposed to give incentives for people to feel like we're reaching towards some common goal together. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Everyone is constantly being bombarded with negativity and but what if, that's what I keep getting. But it could still happen, but you could still get COVID. Yes. And We all have to
You can get a lot of things.
Yes. And what the CDC is now saying, which conservatives have been saying for a very long time, consult with your own doctor and make your own choice. The but what ifs, if that's the bubble that you would like to live in, go ahead and do it, but don't perpetuate your anxiety onto me when I'm trying to make a decision for myself.
Were you more afraid of COVID when you got COVID and you got over COVID, if you would even consider calling it getting over COVID, since you still have the lasting effects of it? Did it scare you more than you needed to be scared once you got it?
I think the idea that things could change drastically, that was the part that scared me. But once I was over it and I was out of my quarantine for the 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, like all of this buildup and all of this hype surrounding COVID was terrifying. And then I ended up getting it. And again, mild case of it. But after it was all said and done, I'm like, okay, moving on. That's what happened. All right, I guess that's it. I think during the time of COVID, though, like once I was having it, I'm like, oh, is it going to get worse or get better? That was the only scary part.
And the truth of the matter is also that your story isn't anybody else's story. It's your story. And there are people who had much more horrific dealings with COVID. We heard about the scary ones, but for the majority of the first 6 months of this, maybe even longer than that, we didn't hear about the stories where, Kate, I remember for Katie, it was, I'd really like to taste something.
Yes.
And I want to get out of my freaking house.
Those were
That was the two symptoms that affected Katie, probably in that order. But it wasn't the frightening episode that everybody was pushing in the media, and it made a lot of people. We've seen the statistics about people. How many people believe that you are an inevitable hospitalization if you get COVID. It's astronomical. It's like 40 to 50% of Democrats and like 25% of Republicans or something. And the actual possibility of having to go to the hospital is less than 5%. But that's not what the media has said. That's not what we've been told. And it's fear peddling. And they're using it to control people. And that's what politics usually does. They scare you into believing that they're the solution to the answer. And most of the time, you're the solution to the answer. Let's take a quick break. We can talk more about this when we come back. If you want to give us a call, 314-241-9797. Love to hear what your experience has been over this past weekend since the CDC changed guidelines. You may not have even noticed anything. We'll do that when we come back in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Edwards Carpet is so grateful to our military personnel that sacrificed their lives for our country. Please honor them this Memorial Day. We owe our way of life to these heroes. God bless America.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores. Carry on my wayward son. Don't you cry no more.
Carry on all the way to your locally owned Meineke, your one-stop shop for total car care. Whatever the repair, our technicians are here to get it done. And you can even pay over time with our available financing options. Book online today and get a free road trip check. Engine, brakes, tires, oil. Meineke, doing car care right. Valid at participating locations. See store for details. Terms and conditions apply.
The Red Ribbon of Overhead Door is celebrating 100 years, a legacy of greatness. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is the only authorized dealer of the genuine, original overhead door products in St. Louis. Same-day service and repair on all brands of garage doors and openers. Convenient evening and weekend appointments for no extra charge. Visit the showroom or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Or call 314-781-5200. That's 314-781-5200.
Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law, easy to get to, easy to call when you reach out to them at 636-946-7899. Get your free consultation started now. Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law have been answering difficult questions and also doing, pretty straight up, easy wills, testaments, power of attorney. If you are looking to set up a trust, they can help you with that as well. Make sure that you are prepared for that moment in time where those tough questions need to have the answers predetermined. Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law can help you do that. Another very important aspect of planning for the future in your life is supplemental nursing cares. It's expensive. It's crazy expensive. And if you don't plan for it ahead of time, and if you don't know about all of the benefits that you might have access to, then you can really be caught off guard. It can be very expensive and become very stressful in an already stressful time. Supplemental nursing care advice is available to you at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law by calling 636-946-7899. That's 636-946-7899. Call them and ask them for advice and get your free consultation set up. Tell them the Annie Fry Show said hello. You can find them online at beckelderlaw.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for ThrottleNet, and if you need new IT service and you're a small business owner, or you just need better IT service, why wouldn't you check out ThrottleNet? They won Best in Customer Service from Small Business Monthly this past January, Best in Cybersecurity in Small Business Monthly in February. Ransomware has been huge, unfortunately, on the rise through the pandemic, and ThrottleNet has saved clients $2.6 million in ransom. They protect against ransomware by providing a tool set that provides cybersecurity training for employees, identifying and quarantining an infected machine from the network, and the equipment will recover in less than 24 hours. Take advantage of a great offer. The first 30 days with ThrottleNet are free. There's no onboarding fees if you leave in the first 30 days. ThrottleNet will pay you $1,000 for your trouble. And after the first 30 days, no contracts, they're month to month. Check out ThrottleNet online. Use the 97.1 connection, throttlenet.com/971. Throttlenet.com/971. Get started today.
What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play or see a play at the plate? Fortunately, however you operate, I'm the destination you've been looking for. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question. What's your MO? Come see me at visitmo.com.
Brought to you by the Missouri Division of Tourism.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
I will never not hear the intro to that song and not remember Katie saying that she thinks that sounds like her laughing.
It does. It does. When I'm really cackling, that's what I feel like I sound like.
I know, you and gorillas, just one and the same. Speaking of, let's talk about the big performance that took place this Friday. It was at Diamond
Music Hall.
Hall. I just want to make sure I get the name right. I shared some of Katie's singing on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. You need to go check that out and give Katie the props that she absolutely deserves. Tell us all about it. Was it a slice of like normalcy and reality and like, hey, here's me singing on a stage and this is so sweet?
It was wonderful. First of all, the music hall. Can't say enough about Diamond Music Hall. It was stunning. There were 3 or 4 bars that you could go to. Everything was, if you got a table, it was socially distanced. You had an option if you wanted to wear a mask, which some people were wearing a mask. Other
that's
people
called
weren't.
freedom.
Correct. Correct.
Liberty.
So it was, I kind of said this on stage too. It's so nice to be surrounded by people and to feel normal. And it was something that really made me feel like, wow, this is one of the best things that happened in 2021 for me. And I was hoping for everybody there too, to spend a Friday night with maybe people that you brought along that you really love, to listen to live music, to grab a drink, to dance, to sing. It just all felt so 2019 that, I was looking around. I had the opportunity to sing, of course, with Tony and Perry and Tilton and Zoe, but then I had an opportunity also to listen to Somebody to Love, the Queen tribute band, and kind of hang out with my parents in the audience and
How
take
are
that
they?
in. My mom and dad were going nuts. I know they're listening right now. They were singing at the top of their lungs. They were dancing their butts off. They were having a blast. And, my dad's fully vaccinated. So it was just nice because they hadn't been out of the house in so long and they haven't seen other people in so long. So the experience for them was just phenomenal. And they were just like, this is absolutely what we needed. But and that's how I felt too. I was sitting in the back with my parents and I was drinking a couple of beers and hanging out and talking and listening to live music, something that I have been craving for the longest time. And I got to experience it. And it was just the biggest breath of fresh air. I needed it. I absolutely, more than I ever thought. In that moment, I looked around and I'm like, oh, I needed this.
Yeah.
And so the experience was just great. It was fun. So fun.
Let me ask you guys about just the idea of being able to see people's faces. I mean, and I say this, and I know that I'm talking to a lot of people who have not been living within a masked society for a long time. In the state of Illinois, we wear masks. It's what you do. There are places that you go that don't require it. And people, I mean, Walmart was one of them. Walmart nationally came out and said, we're not going to require masks for unvaccinated people. But of course, you're not showing nobody's having you show your vaccine card right now. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to wear a mask, I see so many people saying, how does this go? Are we just going to rely on the honor system now?
I hear that all the time. Yep.
Welcome to this country. Are we going to have a law for everything? And are you in charge? Like, are we just going to rely on the honor system? Because I kind of hope we do.
Mm-hmm. I've been hearing that. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
No, I completely agree. I mean, that was the point. The point is that we do rely on the honor system. That would have been the best thing to do from the get-go of this whole thing. And I guarantee you, if we would have at the beginning said, you know what, we recommend masks. We recommend this. We strongly recommend this and that. All the people who are opposed to masks, probably 90% of them would have said, you know what, it's a recommendation. I'll follow it. But a lot of the pushback has been, no, because you're the government. Like, if you would step back at the get-go, we probably would have had greater compliance.
I think it was even more so not because it's the government. It's because the government kept flip-flopping. They kept telling us one thing and the other. I mean, it was a recommendation. It was put out as if this was something that they were encouraging people to do. It took a while for people to require them, but the government itself was contradictory in what they were actually telling the American people to do. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this now? Because you just told me not to. Katie, a lot of people talking on the comments here about Brandon said on Facebook or YouTube says it was an awesome show and a great time on Friday. Katie's mom was having a great time. She doesn't know us and came up to my wife and I twice and said, "That's my kid."
Hey, something weird that did happen that caught me off guard just for a moment was the idea that people were like grabbing each other to go on the dance floor and to have a good time and talking closely because the music was so loud. You had to basically be close
and spittle
to
on
each other. And for a brief moment, I was like, whoa, what? Like we are talking so closely to each other and we're screaming at each other because we have to, because we can't hear one another over the music, but like, yikes. And then out of nowhere, that thought left my mind and I started dancing again. And it is shocking. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It is shocking to be out with a bunch of people, nobody wearing masks. You can see the lower half of someone's face for the first time in a very long time.
Is it nice to see a smile?
Wonderful. It was wonderful. And whenever I was up on that stage, if I were looking at an audience and everybody was wearing masks and nobody could really react, that would have been very difficult for me because the crowd is everything. The crowd means it makes or breaks the performance. You can still be really, really good and give it your all up on stage, but it's the crowd's reaction and their energy that really feeds and gives you momentum.
Yeah.
So if I were looking at a crowd with just a bunch of people wearing masks, like
smiling eyes, people, smiling eyes.
It would have been difficult. Yeah.
Chris on Facebook just said, where's the clip again? It's on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, and you definitely want to go check it out. Steven says, it is shocking how quickly people can be programmed. I mean, I think we all have been. Anytime you've spent a year doing something, I mean, reverting back, it's the first step. It's like getting in the pool for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The pool water's fine. Get yourself in. And you know what? Jump off the ledge and cannonball into that sucker. But once you're in, you'll be in there for 5 minutes and you'll be like, gosh, this water's kind of warm. I really do feel like the majority of Americans they just need somebody to test the water first. They just need somebody to cannonball in first and say, come on in, the water's fine. And the more people who do it, the more the merrier. And, we'll start to quickly get back to normalcy. I'm not been, first of all, I don't go very many places, but that's due to my pregnancy. Secondly, when it comes to pulling into Walmart, if we're going into Walmart and I'm in the car with my husband, he just goes in because I don't want to walk around with a mask when I have difficulty breathing right now anyway, because I'm a gigantic pregnant person. It's true. It's true, Katie. No, I'm absolutely a pregnant person. I don't put myself in a position to have to confront the mask rules a lot. And so the change doesn't hit me as drastically, but just the idea that I could go into a store without having to wear a mask makes me want to go out more. It makes me want to participate in my community and walk around and just mind my own business in a store and shop like a normal person. It's not a big event, but it's a big event personally. Mm-hmm. And it's a big event for everybody personally. And you're going to go into stores and there are going to be people who see you when you're not wearing a mask, and they're going to give you dirty looks. You're only going to be able to see the top half of their dirty looks. So don't even worry about it, but don't be an a-hole about it yourself. Like, kindness breeds kindness. Mind your business, and let's be the first people to jump into this pool and, yell cannonball from the rooftops. Let's real quick get to Greg's phone call here. Greg, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show.
Yeah, I was just calling to sort of reiterate what has already been stated, that it's nice to see a smiling face now in person. Went to the gym on Saturday and we were not required to wear masks. And it was, 7 a.m. and everybody was great spirits, and, just seemed to be a weight was lifted off of their shoulders because, we're free from the bondage.
Are you in Illinois? Was that in Illinois?
No, in St. Louis County. Yeah.
St. Louis County. Okay. Greg, thank you. I'm happy for you and everybody else at that gym. I do feel, like I was kind of getting to this point when this announcement was made on Thursday. Lots of people, rightfully so, saying, well, this doesn't change anything that I'm doing. It changes the mood, and it changes the vibe and the energy that is out there in thrusting it in the direction that I think we should have been going a long time ago, and actually are going right now. Don't hold anybody accountable for keeping it the way it is, though. They can snap this puppy back just like that, where we are like, well, we've changed our guide. Are you thinking the CDC is not going to change their guidelines? I mean, be prepared for it. I just think we're headed in the right direction, and it's exciting. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a new guest on the show is a senior vice president for research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Jonathan Schanzer is going to join us to talk to us about the Biden administration's influence on the Middle East conflict that's going on right now. There is crazy stuff going on between Hamas and Israel. Iran's influence on Hamas and Iran's influence on the Israeli conflict. What is going on there, and what is the Biden administration doing to stop it or to subsidize it? We'll ask Jonathan Schanzer when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for 72 months and carrier cool cash rebates from $50 to $1,650 on qualifying new HVAC systems. AirComfortService.com.
Diamonds Direct has enough diamonds right now to supply up to 30 ordinary jewelry stores, from a half carat to 10 carats. Rare, precious diamonds in all shapes, straight from the world's best diamond cutters. At Diamonds Direct, diamonds are our business, our specialty, our focus. That's why we can guarantee the best diamond selection and the best diamond prices every day, every week, every year. Diamonds Direct. Get store hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Tired of poor fuel pillaging your engine's power? Fight back with Howe's Diesel Defender. Defender's IDX4 detergent conquers all harmful deposits and shields off their return. It maximizes lubricity, providing superior protection to your entire fuel system. With unyielding strength, it boosts fuel economy a minimum of 5%, guaranteed. Defend your engine with the force of a horde of Vikings. Let Howe's Diesel Defender keep your vehicle performing like a true champion all year round. Explore even more at howesproducts.com.
CassinsCan.com is the website. CassinsCan, CAN.com. Go there to check out their inventory, or just go to the location. Beautiful drive out on 270, get on to 159, go north a couple of miles, and you're right there. Cassins is on your left. It's by Sam's. It's by the Walmart, the Lowe's, and the Home Depot. Super simple to get to. Cassins is on your left. When you go to Cassins, you're going to get the opportunity to shop an amazing amount of vehicles with Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram there. They also have used vehicles available for purchase. Check out their website, CassinsCan.com, to see what inventory they have. When you go to Cassins, though, you're going to get the best customer service around in the industry, because Cassins works hard to not just sell you this vehicle, but they want to be there to sell you your next and your next and your next, and your friends and your families next and next and next. And they do that by working their tail off to make sure that they meet your budget, to make sure that they meet your customer satisfaction, which is evident as they have achieved the highest level of Customer First Award by excellence for excellence by J.D. Power. They have the hardware to prove it, and they've done that so with my family. Before I was ever talking to you on the air about it, I was a customer of Cassins, and a repeat customer at that. If you're in the market for a vehicle, check out Cassins online at CassinsCan.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
Tune in to Right at Home with Rich every Saturday from noon to 1 p.m. This Mosby Building Arts Home Show covers topics ranging from design and architecture to remodeling and home maintenance. For answers to all of your home questions, don't miss Right at Home with Rich, brought to you by Mosby Building Arts.
Hey everybody, Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. In fact, over 1 million homeowners took advantage of refinancing or buying a new home with Rocket Mortgage. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase again, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. With an official mortgage review from Rocket Mortgage, you'll see just how much money you could save by making a move right now. Don't look back over these next few weeks and wish that you had taken action. You could save hundreds on your mortgage payments or pay off your home loan earlier than planned. You could even take cash out of your home to pay off high-interest debt, complete home repairs, or bulk up on an emergency fund. When you want to secure a low rate, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Carter was very ineffective at governing. The scary part about Biden is that he's surrounded by people who very artfully put together their progressive plans, and they're getting them acted on.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you.
Well, let's divide it into two. First of all, the Hamas is not attacking it because they're trying to increase the welfare of Palestinians. In fact, they're taking huge sums to build the terror tunnels, which we've been able to neutralize, to have rockets, missiles, and other armaments. They're not building up Gaza. They're doing everything in their power to turn it into a fortified terror camp in order to destroy Israel. And they openly say their goal is to destroy Israel. They're not interested in any kind of coexistence, any kind of the kind of peace, the 4 peace treaties that I've made with Arab countries.
So there's Benjamin Netanyahu speaking on, the possibility of a coexistence between, I guess, Hamas and Israel, potentially Iran. How do they play into this picture? We sit over here in North America and we watch what's taking place in the Middle East. And, we had a pretty peaceful 4 years with Donald Trump in office, but it used to be this type of news story, this type of headline was a pretty consistent headline. We would see a lot of conflict in the Middle East. It's back now. And we hear that the Biden administration wants to work on a coexistence of sorts. Netanyahu saying, no, that's not going to happen. I want to get our expert guest on here. Jonathan Schanzer joins us, who's the Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Jonathan, welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's just get to the bottom of the conflict here right now. A lot of people, frustrated with Israel sending bombs over into a building that has media in it, people questioning the Iron Dome. Am I wrong that those are defense mechanisms? They're fired upon first. Israel is not the aggressor here?
Well, that's right. I mean, this whole thing actually started with a dispute coming out of Israel's judicial system about 4 homes in East Jerusalem. Hamas decided that it wanted to join the argument by firing rockets at Jerusalem. That quickly spun out of control. Hamas has now fired something like 3,000 rockets, 200 rockets just today into Israel. They have absolutely played the role of the aggressor, and they are sponsored by Iran, they're funded by Iran, they're trained by Iran, the rockets come from Iran, and of course Iran would like nothing more than to see Israel destroyed. So Israel's done what it needed to do. It's actually knocked down the vast majority, something like 90% of those rockets that have been fired into Israel. Israel's neutralized them with this Iron Dome missile defense system, which was, by the way, jointly developed with the United States. And the Army here has actually bought 2 installations of this amazing defense tool, and hopefully it'll help American soldiers as well. But in the meantime, of course, Israel is still firing at Hamas targets in Gaza. There is loss of life, but I think by all accounts right now, even by the Biden administration, I think they widely recognize here that this is a defensive war for Israel. I don't think they're going to be eager to end it anytime real soon, because I think they want to really degrade Hamas's capabilities at this point now that the war is broken out. But hopefully we won't see another one like this again for many years.
We're speaking with the Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Jonathan Schanzer. The Biden administration wanted to, reconvene the JCPOA. They were part of the Obama administration, certainly, that involved pallets of cash to Iran in the dark of night. How does the Biden administration's current relationship with Iran affect Israel and our relationship with one of our greatest allies?
Well, it's going to complicate things significantly. I mean, you have on the one hand the administration telling Israel that they're justified in their defensive response, and that that we stand behind Israel right now at this difficult time. But in a matter of weeks, we are likely to see the administration enter back into that deeply flawed 2015 nuclear deal, and this will not really stop Iran from going nuclear. It'll probably postpone it for a few years. and then the path will be paved for them. And in the meantime, the U.S. is going to be forking over billions of dollars to Iran. And we know that that money doesn't just stay in Iran. It's not just for, building infrastructure or repadding their cash reserves. We know that this is the world's foremost state sponsor of terrorism. They've got 6 or 10 different terrorist groups that they sponsor around the region, and they provide funding to. Hamas is one of them. So what we are probably going to be seeing in the coming weeks is the Biden administration funding both sides of the conflict that it purports to want to end, right? It already helps Israel, and then it will soon be helping Iran, which will then be forwarding cash on to Hamas. So it's sort of a very hard thing to understand what the Biden administration policy is, why it would do this, but this is the path that we're on.
Jonathan Schanzer is Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. I just got to ask you, based on that answer, why? I don't even want to ask what America gets out of this. What does the Biden administration get out of funding both sides of a war like this?
Well, they're going to say they don't see it that way. They're going to say that what they're trying to do is to prevent a nuclear conflagration in the future between Iran and Israel, or probably more to the point, Iran and the United States. So they're saying that this is going to prevent war. I actually think by providing huge amounts of cash to the world's foremost state sponsor of terrorism, you're probably putting war on fast forward. So that's, I think, one reason why they're doing it. They're saying that they're going to try to prevent it. I think there's also really a sense that it is a legacy project for Barack Obama. And a lot of these same people that were part of the deal last time around, they're back on the team, and I think they want to finish what they started. Again, even if all signs point to this really hurting international security in the long term.
You can learn more about Jonathan Schanzer. You can follow him on Twitter at jschanzer or fdd.org. I will ask about the American interest in this, because a lot of American tax dollars are being invested in one or the other here. My question to you is, when Americans look at a conflict in the Middle East, a lot of them say, we don't belong over there. We should keep our nose out of this. It's not our business. Very isolationist in that mentality. What business do we have, the Biden administration, Americans, our tax dollars, what business do we have being involved in this conflict in the Middle East?
Well, actually, we don't have a whole lot of business. We have a close relationship with Israel. It's based on common values and a common view of the region, a common effort, at least in the past, to combat extremism, to combat countries like Iran. And really, what I think U.S. investment is in Israel is about making sure that we have an ally that we can work with over there, that is both a democracy and that also has a capable military. This is a good investment of American dollars. Then there's a question of the other aid that we throw around in the region, trying to alleviate poverty, when in fact what we're only really doing is padding the pockets of corrupt leaders across the Arab world. That's where I think we've really made a mistake with the aid that we disperse. But the relationship that we have with Israel, I think it's one that continues to yield positive results for America. And actually, it's worth noting that the Israelis have never asked America to put boots on the ground to defend Israel in any way. The Israelis actually really want to defend themselves. They certainly welcome American assistance, and they also welcome the idea of providing some of this remarkable technology that they developed and allowing America to partake in it. So this has been a really positive relationship over the years. My fear is that it's going to be eroded in large part because of this Iran nuclear diplomacy that the Biden administration is now set to get into. It will begin to reshape the Middle East as the United States begins to fund one of its worst enemies. It's really hard to fathom.
Jonathan, is this in response to the Abraham Accords? I mean, is this Hamas trying to say this stops here? We don't want peace in the Middle East?
Well, for sure, I think that's part of it. You got to remember that the Abraham Accords, those historic agreements that former President Donald Trump brokered last year, it was, I think, a sign to the world that the Arab-Israeli conflict was dwindling. In other words, it used to be that it was all the Arab states against Israel because of the Palestinian cause. The Arab states are now saying, look, you know what? We've had enough of this conflict. It hasn't actually gotten us anything. If anything, it's made the region more unstable and really more unruly, more violent over the years. So you had Bahrain and the UAE and Sudan and Morocco all say, we're out. We're not doing this conflict any longer. The Palestinians now want to make their issue front and center again. They want people to feel like it's a central issue for Arab politics. I'm not sure they're succeeding in doing so, but that's at least in part one of the motivations for this most recent round of conflict.
Jonathan Schanzer, thank you so much for the time today. We look forward to staying in contact with you and continuing to get an update on this, because it is absolutely brewing and percolating over there, and we want to make sure that we know the facts. So we're grateful to have you come on the show with us today.
Happy to help anytime.
Of course. He's the Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, FDD.org, at Jay Schanzer on Twitter. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back in the 2 o'clock hour, there's a story out there right now. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, yeah. Bombshell report. What percentage? Here's a question. What percentage of bombshell reports are actually bombshells? Is it 50% or less?
No, less.
Less than 50%. Well, this is a bombshell report. Bombshell UFO report. U.S. military encounter UFOs every day that far exceed its tech capabilities. What? Excuse me, come again? Well, I'll tell you in the 2 o'clock hour what that is about. You can comment and tell me, do you believe in UFOs? And if you believe in UFOs, we've had this conversation before. That's just saying it's an unidentified flying object. They're not necessarily Martians, but maybe they are. I don't know. China's been there. They could tell us. What do you think that they are? And do you believe in them? I'd love to hear from you on our live chat, facebook.com/Annie Fry Show, the Annie Fry YouTube channel. And a reminder, if you are coming in and out of work and you want to stream us and take us with you anywhere you go, you can download that Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download the Odyssey app, find 97.1 FM Talk, and stream the Annie Fry Show. We'll be back with the Bombshell UFO report. I know you can't wait for this. Don't go anywhere.
The button, a symbol of things made easier. Before buttons, things were much harder, like pull starting an outboard motor.
Come on, you. Come on, you. Come on. Okay, this time you're going to start. Come on.
Or manually opening a garage door.
Oh no, my back.
Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can pay you cash and close in as little as 5 days. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis is your most trusted home buyer. We buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location in the St. Louis metro. Call 314-782-5000. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis buys inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses, and even those my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis today. Vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, get a cash offer in just 7 minutes. Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis at 314-782-5000. That's 314-782-5000. 314-782-5000.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Nearly every week, our team meets with clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and in some cases actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion on your retirement plan today. When you work with us at the ClearPath Wealth Management Group, we're committed to providing you with guidance that's in your best interest, no exceptions. To request your free consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Again, that's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A pandemic first on Lisa Brady, Fox News.
For the first time since the pandemic began, pandemic cases are down in all 50 states. First time.
But President Biden says America won't be safe until a pandemic raging globally is under control. The U.S. boosting the number of vaccine doses it will send out to 80 million. The president today also highlighting the start of child tax credits being sent out monthly to some 39 million families as part of COVID relief. Those monthly checks are based on a child's age and the parent's income. New York's governor is lifting the state's mask requirement in line with new CDC guidelines, though some public sites and businesses will vary. But California just announcing its mandate won't be lifted until June 15th, allowing time to adjust. After a long pandemic break, the trial for murder suspect Robert Durst has resumed in Los Angeles, but his attorneys tried to delay proceedings due to health concerns. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has this live.
Lisa, attorney Dick DeGuerin explained that his client, real estate heir Robert Durst, who did not show up for court, by the way, has a number of life-threatening ailments and needs medical care out of custody.
The doctor simply says the question is not whether he can endure the rigors of the trial. The question is whether he can survive it all.
Judge Mark Windham said he's open to a hearing on health matters. The lead prosecutor argued that Durst is not going to get any healthier and that any further delay would amount to a get-out-of-jail-free card. In the end, the judge welcomed jurors back into the room and asked if any had new hardships or had been exposed to media coverage of Durst during the pandemic, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. Durst is accused of murdering his best friend, Susan Berman, before she could speak to police about the 1982 disappearance of Durst's wife. America is listening to Fox News.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tena Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tenasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tena.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We are definitely stuck in an unsettled and rather wet weather pattern. It continues on this Monday afternoon. Lots of clouds, scattered showers, windy, 75 for the high. Tonight, same story. Clouds, scattered showers, 62. Tuesday, same story. Clouds, scattered showers, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, 75. And Wednesday, yeah, that's right, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms near 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you need an expert to help navigate the home loan process, Rocket can. When you need certainty in the home buying process with a loan that fits your life, Rocket can.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage has just broken the mold once again. The bagel loan has gotten even better. If you are in the market to purchase a new home, you need to be the most competitive buyer that is out there. It's going to save you money in the long run. And Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage and the bagel loan has exactly what you need. New home loans at $200,000 or more. Absolutely no closing costs. Now, the bagel loan used to be just about no lender fees. He has added in no closing costs on top of that. You cannot beat this deal anywhere else. And he told me he's doing closings in as quickly as 2 weeks. Reach out to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage today to secure this opportunity for you. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Rates are still ridiculously low. Be the most competitive buyer that you can be with Stewart's American Mortgage. You can call him at 314-324-4440. Find him online at stewartsamc.com and MLS number 226715.
Playoff basketball is here, and before you bet on any of the postseason games, you need to check out BetQL. BetQL analyzes every game to help you make the smartest possible bets. Sometimes the spread is off by a few points, or the total is way too high or low. BetQL finds those opportunities so you can take advantage and cash in. Ready to win more consistently? Visit BetQL.com and use promo code PLAYOFFS for 20% off. That's 20% off with promo code PLAYOFFS at BetQL.com.
Government spending.
Here are the steps we're going to be taking. First, today we're opening a portal. The money we're distributing for state and local governments, sending out the relief checks. This is the largest investment.
Government spending.
Without those workers having to give up all their unemployment benefits. Dramatic expansion, funds to states.
Things you won't hear anywhere else.
We're opening a portal.
Hear them here.
To a government that bungled its response.
97.1 FM Talk. Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Anytime, anywhere. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk wherever you go. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being here with us. Happy Monday. Kind of rainy, gloomy Monday. It is what it is, but we're happy that you are here, and we appreciate your comments and your participation with us. Anytime we have a show going, you know that we're streaming it live also, so you can watch the show and participate. So if you're interested in doing that, you can go to the Facebook page, Annie Fry Show Facebook page. We're really close to 15,000 likes. I'm pretty excited about that. If you haven't liked the page yet, please consider doing so. Also subscribe to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. I don't think that it's a coincidence that Don Lemon's announcement and the UFO sightings happen at the same time here, but listen to this announcement from this past weekend.
So earlier I told you I had an announcement, and I do.
What is it?
It's been really, really great. This is the last night that we'll be CNN Tonight with Don Lemon. So I
Dramatic
appreciate
pause.
all the years of
Gosh.
CNN Tonight with Don Lemon, but changes are coming, and I will fill you in.
Yeah, changes are coming. They're changing the name of his show. Everybody just relax. Drama. Anyway, like I said, this coincides perfectly with the bombshell UFO report. U.S. military encounters UFOs every day that far exceed its tech and capabilities. Does this surprise you guys?
Not at all.
Every day.
Not at all. I think it's every day, multiple times a day.
from the Daily Wire, an explosive report featured on CBS News' 60 Minutes featured several former U.S. military officials who talked about what the U.S. government knows about unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAP, more commonly referred to by us little folks as UFOs. The segment comes ahead of a report that the military is supposed to deliver an unclassified report to Congress by next month. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe said in a recent interview that the findings will shock people because, quote, frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public, end quote. Can we bring Donald Trump back to make this announcement? Would it not be great? Like, what kind of must-see television would it be to have Donald Trump give the UFO report?
There are many UFOs.
I have a strong theory about this. I've really thought this through. Now, you tell me if this is crazy.
Okay, it's crazy.
But
I mean,
don't
it's
think
UFOs.
aliens.
They're all crazy.
Well, that's true. Like any of these, no matter what we say,
It's hard to
gonna
not
be
go
pretty
down the
out
crazy route. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I think this is probably the least crazy, which is why I think it might be the most plausible explanation for this. Is no, that it's not China and it's not aliens, that it's actually our own like top super secret security clearance government that's been making these things, and they're doing it more and more and more now to show other countries like China, like Russia, that they exist, which is why our military keeps seeing them more than others.
That's not too crazy. I think that's
Now, that doesn't mean that our military is in on it. Like, they don't know what's going on. They're legitimately saying we don't know what these things are, but that it's still our technology somewhere being created within our government that's doing it.
I'm still a firm believer if there's anything that we're seeing, somebody wants you to see it. Like, nobody's accidentally spying a UFO. Like, if it's getting out there in the open and there's video of it, I feel like you're supposed to know about it. You're supposed to be asking questions about it. I can only imagine. Well, I had a dear friend of mine worked in. Let me just be vague enough so that you believe me, because I'm telling you the truth, but I don't want to out this person. I have a very dear friend of mine who works in the intelligence community. He doesn't work for the intelligence community, but the industry he works in works hand in hand with the intelligence community. Top secret clearance. And I remember being told, I think it was like in the mid 2000s, this person told me, I know that my kids are safe, my kids' kids are safe, and their kids are safe.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, what I know is that what we know, what like peons like me, Annie Fry, know, is technology that has been produced and developed long before. And the things that are being developed right now, we won't be made aware of until way into the future. And by the time I know about it, it's kind of a mainstream thing. You know, the intelligence community across the world is aware of it. But it's just, that has always given me peace. Maybe he was trying to make me feel good. And if he did, thank you. It's worked wonderfully. And I appreciate that. And I forward this along to you, this ignorance is bliss, peace of mind. Let's see. This is from the 60 Minutes segment. Lou Elizondo, former U.S. military official that led the U.S. government's effort to investigate the UAP, quote, imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour, that can evade radar, and that can fly through air and water with and possibly space. And, oh, by the way, has no obvious sign of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet still can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're seeing. No big deal. Here's another one. Elizondo on explanations for what people are witnessing, quote, in some cases, there are simple explanations for what people are witnessing, but there are some that are not. That we're not just simply jumping to a conclusion that's saying, quote, oh, that's a UAP out there, end quote. We're going through our due diligence. It is some sort of new type of cruise missile technology that China has developed. Is it some sort of high altitude balloon that's conducting reconnaissance? Ultimately, when you have exhausted all of those what ifs, and you're still left with the fact that this is in our airspace and it's real, that's when it becomes compelling. And that's when it becomes problematic. Here's another one. Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot lieutenant, on how often the U.S. military encounters UAPs on the East Coast. Every day for at least a couple years.
See, these are the type of stories I was going to ask you both this. These are the type of stories that I like to hear about, but I don't want to know the interworkings of any of that.
No, you want to watch this movie.
Yeah, I'm summing up to angry Tom Cruise. The world's getting taken over by aliens because angry Tom Cruise saw a UFO, and now that's what's happening. But would either one of you like to have a job that is super secret that you're not able to talk about to other people, but you have all of this kind of information easily at your fingertips, and
That's kind of my job already.
Yep. No, no talking.
No, I would love that. I would be good at it.
You would love it.
I am very good at keeping things private that need to be private. A lot of people, if you have information that is proprietary information, a lot of people want people to know that you have that proprietary information. They won't come out and tell you, but they want you to know that they are in the know and that you are not in the know. I'm not one of those people. I am a steel trap of information, and I collect it and use it.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
And I have no problem. I don't care what anybody else knows compared to what I know. But no, I would. I said to my husband the other day, I'm like, I think I could work in the FBI. He's like, you could absolutely work in the FBI.
You could absolutely.
I could. I know I would.
Ryan, what about
I
you?
would love to know. I
Really?
would love to know just because I'm curious. I want to know everything that exists.
Her question was, would you like a job like that?
Yeah.
So that's my. I'm afraid that I would get in there and then Edward Snowden it. Like that, I would be like, no, the public has to know these things now that I know them. I would be afraid of like the consequences for me and my family once I found that stuff out. And my
So you wouldn't be. Maybe you.
I don't know
wouldn't
that
the
I'd
right
be
person
great
for
at
that
it.
job.
Like, or maybe I'd be perfect at. Maybe that's what the world needs right now. They need somebody to go in there and bust it all open.
Graves on what he thinks the objects are. Quote, I would say, the highest probability is it's a threat observation program. And then Chris Mellon served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence for President Clinton and George W. Bush, and was on the staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Quote, these vehicles seem to have unlimited loiter time, which we don't have. We're limited in terms of altitude. It's hard to design something that functions well at ground level, but can go 60,000 or 80,000 feet and then drop down to the deck or drop 20,000 feet. And it's like a straight vertical line in seconds when the acceleration is far beyond anything that we're capable of. There's nothing we could build that would be strong enough to endure that amount of force and acceleration. I feel like this is what I think is going on here. Clearly. I mean, first of all, have we seen this? Do we have verified evidence that type of thing is happening? If they want us to be talking about aliens, what are they really doing? Like, while the morons on the Annie Fry show here are talking about, what the aliens are doing, or maybe it's China, or maybe we need to, whatever. Meanwhile, what's really going on that we're not talking about? If this story comes out, this is a very fun story to talk about, which is why we're doing it. But is it a distraction? Is it something that's real? Is it something that's tangible? And how would we ever possibly know? We won't ever know because it's the intelligence community.
Mm-hmm.
We're the unintelligent community.
Yeah.
No
when
offense.
When it's like these people giving these quotes, do the journalists ever ask them what they think it is, or do they all just go, we don't know?
I don't know. Maybe they're not able to answer.
They clearly know something.
Yeah,
like,
but
they're seeing something.
Wait, I just said Graves on what he thinks the objects are. He said, quote, I would say, the highest probability is it's a threat observation program. So yeah.
But a threat observation program from another world or from ours?
Who knows?
You'd have to watch the interview. But yeah, I mean, that legit question was asked in this interview. It was on 60 Minutes. I mean, I don't know. I have said before on this show, and I will say it again, I don't necessarily believe that there is alien life form out there. I don't really believe that exists. I believe that we are alone, and I think that's going to ruffle some feathers because I know a lot of you you're just needing it to happen. Unless we're talking about Thor. I need to believe that Thor is real. Whenever we see the International Space Station, you ever seen the International Space Station go over?
Oh, I don't know.
Think so.
I don't.
It looks like a moving star, not a shooting star, because it moves very fast paced. It's super bright in the sky. And you can look up like the specific in your location where the International Space Station is going to be, what time it's going to go over, what path it's going to make. And we would go out and watch that a lot during COVID lockdown. and we'd find it. But we were also watching the Marvel series with my parents. And so my kids were like, "That's Thor, Mommy." And I'm like, "You're darn right it is. Look up there's Thor with his hammer flying through the sky." It's a really cool thing to do with your kids or your grandkids. Or you need to see them if you want to watch it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't believe it. Katie, you said you believe in?
Yeah. I think aliens are out there. I think it's a big universe, y'all. I think that there's some kind of life form. Hopefully, if they ever arrive, they are friendly and they are nice and they don't want my brains.
Ryan, you believe in aliens?
I think probability-wise, I do. I don't know that this I believe is aliens, though.
No, do you believe in aliens? Yes?
No. I'll say no.
Which is it?
I'm going to say scientifically, I'm going to leave it
yes
as
or
a
no.
possibility.
All right. When
But
we come
no.
back, Ryan will think over his answer and maybe we'll ask him again and get the lowdown because it's, the answer to that question, everybody's hanging on it and it will determine the existence of alien life form elsewhere. After watching Men in Black when I was growing up and they showed like all the celebrities in the background, the famous people who were actually aliens, then that like made me reconsider everything. I was like, now you're talking. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a Men in Black believer, but I'm not an alien believer. All right, Ryan, think on it. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Oh, Cadillac, blackjack, baby, meet me out back. We're gonna boogie. Oh, get down, turn around, go to town, boogie, scoot, boogie.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
An experienced team is what you need if you are selling your home. Christy and JT from the Monching team are experienced, and they know the ins and outs of how to get your home ready, sold fast, and for the best price. The Monching team knows the real estate market and will get you more than you expected for your home. Visit them at themonchingteam.com.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will show you how to retire in 2 to 5 years. Your age doesn't matter. Turn off the pundits and turn on the passive income. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Tune in to the Del Walmsley Show where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Have you reached out to the Closet Factory yet? Why not? 314-961-4300. Custom organization for every room in your house. They have a solution. Wherever your weak point is, wherever the stuff collects and doesn't really have a place to go, or if you need to purge your closet and just revamp the whole thing, breathe fresh new life into that unorganized place in your house with the Closet Factory. When you call them now, 314-961-4300, receive $500 off your minimum purchase of $2,500. This is a great way to save a good amount of money on that project. Custom closets, home office organization, garage storage, wall beds surrounded by wall storage with wall units, laundry room storage, getting that done in my house, cannot wait. And also kid spaces. If you've got an area in your house that absorbs the kids or the grandkids and it's always kind of an organized mess, make it an organized system that works for you and works for your house. 314-961-4300, 314-961-4300, online at closetfactory.com.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, I'm Mike. And I'm Bill, and we've been friends since second grade. And for nearly 20 years, our company, Universal Windows Direct, has been aiming to provide homeowners quality home improvement products.
And many of them have trusted us with their projects and helped us earn the superior satisfaction rating. Right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free, plus no payments and no interest for 2 years.
Don't wait. Call us now, 314-696-5909, or click universalwindowsdirect.com, and you'll be saying, I love my windows.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
Please send a little girl for me to thrill. A girl who wants my kisses and my arms. A girl with all the charms of you.
I know it's probably false advertising, but when I imagine the 50s, I only imagine this song. Like, I feel like this song, Frankie Avalon, just makes me feel like I was there and experienced it right along with some Vivos. It feels good. I feel like that. Actually, this coincides with Back to the Future, the Under the Sea Enchantment Dance, or whatever it is. Just say it's just the whole vibe. Is that all that was done in the 50s? Because if it was, I kind of feel like I could have existed comfortably in the 50s. Katie's got a story here. Prince Harry. I saw this headline and I was like, I can't even with this. And then Katie put it up there and I'm like, all right, well, we'll get the deets from Katie. Prince Harry weighing in on American Constitution. At least he's acknowledging that we have a constitution, but
before I begin with the story,
you need a moment.
Can I say, for a guy that wanted to get out of the royal family because the spotlight and too much pressure and so much going on, I don't want.
He sure finds it
everywhere. Every day, Prince Harry is saying something. I don't get it. Prince Harry is facing a wave of backlash after calling the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution bonkers during a podcast appearance last week.
Whenever you're going to criticize the Constitution, especially at the beginning of the Bill of Rights, bonkers is a really intelligent word to know.
The Duke of Sussex made his comments on an episode of Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert.
This is getting better and better.
This is so. While
Dax Shepard.
Exactly. While chatting about life in Los Angeles, where Harry and his wife Meghan have settled since leaving the United Kingdom, the prince discussed what he called the media freezing frenzy, resulting from his stay at a film producer and actor Tyler Perry's mansion. I don't want to start of going down the First Amendment route because it's a huge subject and one in which I don't understand because I've only been here a short period of time. This is what Harry said. He also said, but
pretty simple.
You can find a loophole in anything, and you can capitalize or exploit what's not said rather than uphold what is said. I've got so much going on, and I've got so much I want to say about the First Amendment, and I sort of understand it. This is Prince Harry, but it's really bonkers.
That's a direct quote. That was actually Harry talking.
So this is what Senator Ted Cruz had to say.
Speak like Ted Cruz now.
Oh gosh, how do I do that? I don't know.
I wouldn't try.
He says, so the Daily Caller says Prince Harry says America's First Amendment is bonkers. Ted Cruz says, nice that he can say that. Dan Crenshaw, my boy. Well, I just doubled the size of my Independence Day party. So all of these people are just going after Prince Harry because once again, he said something out of sorts. I don't know if he meant it in the way that it was taken, but I am like, dude, you need to back away from the U.S. Constitution. You need to back up like a dump truck about the U.S. Constitution. Far away.
You know what is it that bothers him about the First Amendment? Just that people can say crazy things. I mean, a reminder that we don't need to protect speech that everybody feels good about. You need to protect the speech that people don't feel comfortable about. And gosh, I grew up hearing sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We are in the opposite of that realm right now. There's probably somewhere between growing up as an 80s, 90s kid where, you know, I don't know. Did we have emotions? Did we have feelings? I mean, we were not raised in a way. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I just feel like we were told to like toughen up and, you know, buck up and get on with it. I can't imagine that the people who were raised, you know, from the greatest generation were, you know, getting a little too much emotional sensitivity, and now it's completely flipped on its head, and words are the only thing that matter, and people melt down and like you can just walk away from words, and you can also use your words to challenge words that you don't like. You can speak up in defense of something because of the First Amendment. You can, you know, we were having this conversation in my family this past weekend, but when I want people to say the stupid things that they think so that I don't have to spend any extra time figuring out how ignorant you actually are. If you're going to speak on something that is going to show you to be an ignorant person, to be a hateful person, the sooner I know that, the better for me, that is who you are. And if we, you know, we get into this world where we call everything is racist. Everything is racist. You're racist when you wake up in the morning if you're white, because you're white. That is the world we live in today. And when you say things like that and you create an atmosphere like that, you are watering down real actual racism that exists on a daily basis, and it makes it harder to call it out. It's everybody becomes so regressive about it because everybody is scared. We should use more words, not less.
Yeah, if you're against the freedom of speech, it seems like you're just admitting out front that your ideas are not very good. Because if they were, they would win the battle in the marketplace of ideas. I would love somebody to follow up with Harry. Maybe, you know, maybe this got taken out of context or something. But what's the alternative to freedom of speech? Like, do you advocate for more government control of speech? And if you are doing that, aren't you crazy and wrong? Like, doesn't everybody disagree with that? Except in practice, you know, once in a while, like Facebook's going to do it and Twitter's going to do it just in this circumstance. But overall, like most people agree, freedom of speech is a good thing.
Well, and am I totally stupid or naive to not know? Does England function that? I mean, they have freedom of speech. They have something that isn't obviously the U.S. Constitution, but don't they believe in free speech? Like, why is the phenomenon of our Constitution totally bonkers? Is it the process and procedure? Is it because it is, you know, we are our speech is protected? I just don't understand why go after something that is so universal that everybody cares about so much. And it could just be a United States thing. We could be the people that are like gung-ho about free speech, and maybe England isn't. But I would think that anyone around that area in Europe would be like, yeah, it's that seems like common sense.
According to Newsweek, they say, while it's not clear exactly what Harry meant, the Duke and Duchess have used the law in disputes with the media in multiple occasions in the UK, but would likely face a more difficult terrain bringing similar cases to U.S. courts. In the UK, freedom of expression is balanced against other competing aspects of law, such as the right to privacy under the Human Rights Act. Britain's libel laws are also considered tougher on publishers than in America, where there is protection for claims made about public figures. That's something that Donald Trump advocated, certainly, was to have some sort of repercussion for people who spread fake news, because Lord knows he was, you know, patient zero for fake news being spread about. His entire administration was plagued with people. The New York Times even just wrote a haven't read this article yet, and I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't get through it today. The New York Times wrote an article, Secret Sharers, the hidden ties between private spies and journalists. A booming renegade private intelligence industry is increasingly shaping and misshaping the news. And this is the first paragraph. This is by Barry Meyer in the New York Times. It was written a couple days ago on May 15th. Some journalists are happy to knock on the doors of strangers. I never was one of them, but Christopher Steele, the ex-British spy behind the infamous Trump dossier, left me no choice. And it goes on to talk about how absent actual real journalism was in the Steele dossier story that, of course, predated the election and had an effect on the election. And then it managed to plague about 3 years of the Biden or the Trump administration, if not even still part of the conversation. So I'm looking forward to reading that. But, the idea of having some sort of responsibility to truth, journalistically speaking, is an incredibly different conversation than people, citizens of a country, having the right to speak their mind, among the other things that the First Amendment advocates for. Also, I mean, as a rule, don't freaking come to my country and seek refuge from your oppressive royal family and crap on my Constitution. Get out of here with that, Sussex. I don't understand at all why American media entertains this idea of people who flee to this country, and then they put them up and they prop them up and then they crap all over what we have here. Go find somewhere better. Maybe we suck. Maybe we're everything terrible that you think that we are. Bye. Go away. Go find your perfect place, your utopia of sorts, where everybody can speak everything that is nice and friendly that you approve of. Go to that place. Like now. I will contribute to your plane ticket. It's so frustrating and so annoying. And it's like the whole media elite, the celebrities, the artists, the people who find themselves just boringly in front of television sets because they're of that class of people, and people like you and me aren't, that they get to spew these things that criticize who we are. And this, I mean, ironically speaking, it's kind of strange that a royal comes to the United States to seek refuge and then complains about our freedoms. Let's just do some history here. Give me a break. I can take a break.
Is the Queen of England going to just live forever? Like, is there any end to her reign? Like, is she an eternal being now?
I don't know. I mean,
she's 95 years old, so.
You know what? She's 95 years old, and she does look good for her age. She's not. She seems like she's still going strong.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Alec Baldwin is feeling it on the cancel culture thing. That's what we need. Alec Baldwin. If maybe he should come out as Donald Trump and talk about cancel culture. That would really wrap things up for me. That would be a full circle for me in the what in the world are we doing with our time capacity. That and the rest of what I missed in just a minute. Stick around. Follow us on Facebook. Give us a like if you haven't yet. We're close to 15,000. Would you spare a Facebook like for me? Also, I've heard people suggest that maybe they thought that they liked the page and maybe they don't anymore. So go check that. Annie Fry Show on Facebook. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you do, I promise that I will.
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 52 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins. You've heard me talking about Fountains Family Dentistry in Fairview Heights, located between about O'Fallon and Collinsville, right in that area off of Highway 64. Let me tell you a little story. About 2 weeks ago, my 3-year-old's appointment was up. So me and him were getting our teeth cleaned at the same time, but he'd never been to the dentist. And we'd read some books to prepare him, the little critters books where the little guy goes to the dentist and is scared, but then he's fine. Well, I think those books actually made my son more nervous because he knew, oh, this is actually an event now. So he was kind of on the verge, but he didn't cry because everything was so comfortable and easy and quick. So if a 3-year-old on the verge of crying can go to Fountains Family Dentistry and have a good experience. I'm sure if you have any anxiety, you'll have a good experience too. And it is quick and it is state of the art. Great staff, great doctor, Dr. Ty Parker, a friend of mine. Fountains Family Dentistry, like I said, it's in Fairview Heights in the little complex near Shogun there. If you've probably driven past it, if you're in the Metro East, check them out. Fountains Family Dentistry, fountains.familydentistry.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. Interest rates are still at historic lows. If you have not taken advantage of today's low rates, what are you waiting for? I get calls all the time from people using online and national lenders. They question the fine print, need clarification, and want somebody to talk them through the steps. This is the personal service I offer. Whether you are looking to refinance or purchase, call an experienced local lender. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. Call today while interest rates are still at historic lows. 314-336-6050. 314-336-6050. 314-336-6050. Or online at communitymortgagestl.com. When you call, you'll speak to me.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224-143, NMLS 250353.
Can you tell the difference between real wood and wood lookalikes?
To help decide, compare hundreds of floors installed side by side in Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Wood floors can help sell homes faster and increase home values 3 to 5% more.
Now, save up to 33% off Anderson Tough Tex Hardwood, an exclusive product from Shaw Floors.
Anderson Tough Tex is known for truly handcrafted, hand-scraped hardwood textures and planks up to 9 inches wide.
Now, save 1/3 off, plus up to 24 months free financing.
Experience more at Ambassador
Midwest Floor.
Nobody's more proud of what Diamonds Direct offers than our own staff.
Our standards are the highest I've ever seen in the business, and I've been in this industry my entire life.
Not only do we have the most competitive pricing in the industry, but the whole package that you get with it is incomparable.
One thing that always surprises clients is how much further their budget will go with Diamonds Direct.
But way beyond value, what we're most proud of is our total commitment to each and every customer.
We go above and beyond for our customers so that they feel valued and they know that they're valued. We are really focusing on not making a sale that day. We want to make a friend forever.
It doesn't matter what size diamond that you're looking for. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to make you feel fabulous.
The philosophy to take care of the customer is just amazing.
When clients come in, I think what they can feel is our passion.
The electricity that you get in here, everybody's happy. It's such a friendly environment.
Diamonds Direct.
And you can feel that energy and that happiness every time you step into our showroom.
Come see and feel the difference. Your love, our passion. Olive and 270 at City Place.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit makeawish@wish.org.
Weekdays from 6 to 7. Catch the Dave Glover Show on 97.1. It's the best of each day, boiled down to 1 hour. The DGS Highlight Hour, every weekday at 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
First touch of summer, she's got your t-shirt on.
All right, here's two stories. One which may interest you and one which I promise you probably won't. I'll just read Vicky's report. I just told Katie this on the break and Katie gasped. She audibly gasped Vicky's Facebook post. So I just get a news bulletin, air quotes, on my phone. The big news is Ariana Grande secretly got married.
Can't believe it.
I got to tell Katie that.
I can't believe it.
She goes, oh. And I was like,
wait to know.
Wait, you didn't know that? I just saw it on Twitter and you didn't know that. I knew that before you did.
I thought it was just going to be a big blowout wedding, but I guess it was just a small, intimate one.
Yeah, that's all I know about it.
Where was my invite?
Just the headline. It was at her house, I think. She didn't lick any donuts as far as I know. Here's the other story from businessinsider.com. How's this make you feel? Governor Cuomo to earn $5.12 million for his book on New York York's COVID-19 response. This dude is under investigation for the deaths of over 15,000 nursing home patients because of his policies. He was writing a book about how to handle this. He has not been held accountable for this scandal, and he is going to make over $5 million for it. Where is the justice in the world?
Disgusting. Ugh.
It makes
He's
me
gross.
crazy. Tell me about Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
I need to know what's going on in Alec Baldwin's life right now.
Do you want me to do what I miss with this? Because this is pretty good.
I don't care.
Okay.
You do whatever you want.
What I miss?
So I'm going to read you guys something that happened with Alec Baldwin. He has once again bashed cancel culture. This time comparing it to the devastation of a forest fire, because it always has to be so poetic. Cancel culture is like a forest fire in constant need of fuel, functioning objectively, no prejudice, no code, just destroy the deserving and the undeserving alike, Alec Baldwin said. He said this days after he slammed the U.S. Congress. He said on a social media post, there appears to be a zero tolerance policy for bad behavior everywhere except for where it matters most, the U.S. Congress. It gets better. So he says this about the U.S. Congress, which whatever. But back in March, if you guys remember, he got so much heat and so much crap because he was defending New York Governor Andrew Cuomo while railing against cancel culture. He made a 14-minute video on his Instagram, which he covered the topics at more at length and then deleted it because he was getting so much heat for saying stuff about Andrew Cuomo and defending him that he said, no, I just need to erase that and then I'll just make another video about cancel culture. So stupid.
What? I mean, who's getting canceled? Andrew Cuomo is the opposite of canceled right now. Who on the left is getting canceled? Your people are the cancelers, not the cancelees. What am I missing? Like, is somebody canceling Alec Baldwin? Is he mad that Trump lost and now he can't be a hate monger on SNL anymore for nobody to watch him get his therapy out from 10:35 on trying to make fun of Donald Trump? He's not on the crap end of the stick, and the conservatives have been for a long time. Oh gosh, he's delusional.
I think he's mad because he thought that Trump impression was going to be so successful, and by the end of it, every single person ever was like, "Quit it,
stop,
we're done with it,
just stop." Absolutely.
Yeah, it feels like we're talking about different things. Like when the right talks about cancel culture and the left, like when Cuomo said, "Well, I'm a victim of cancel culture." Like we're talking about very different things, but using the same words apparently.
Yeah, Cuomo has not lost anything. Right. He should because people have died because of him, and also he makes people feel really uncomfortable in a toxic work environment kind of way. And just last week he said, if you feel uncomfortable around me, that's on you because I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, you interpreted wrong. I mean, if anybody was cancelable, it should be Cuomo, but he's not canceled.
So CNN's Abby Phillip, I think you guys have probably been hearing this too. A lot of people are comparing Biden to Carter and saying that Biden's era is the new Carter era. And so this is what she's saying about it.
I mean, at the same time that all this is happening domestically here in the United States, you have these really, I think, searing visuals. If you're of a certain age, particularly, brings you back to, I mean, I think Republicans would love to bring people back to the Carter years, but these gas lines, it's a psychological problem. Maybe it's temporary, but for the American public, there's something psychological about hearing about inflation and seeing gas lines and literally going to the pump in certain southern states and not being able to get gas.
Yeah. It's bad. Gas lines are bad. That's not psychological. There are gas lines. They exist. People couldn't get gas because the Colonial Pipeline got hacked, and then there was no gas. Inflation is a real thing, and it's probably coming to a bank account near you very, very soon. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. What are we supposed to do? Just like trust the Biden administration when they say everything's going to be okay, when they fully decide to take care of us so that we have no worries anymore? My favorite, security provided by the government. I think that's like socialism, maybe? I don't know. At the cost of your freedom. No big price there.
You can hear this woman kind of saying in everything that she's saying, we're having a lot of trouble spinning this. Like, that's all she's saying is people are reacting to this in ways that we weren't expecting. We're having trouble framing it for them.
Chicago's mayor, Lori Lightfoot, has some things and opinions about how she wants to push people to get more vaccines.
We're going to do a series of events this summer where we incentivize people to get vaccinated by only allowing people that are vaccinated into these events. So there's a lot, I think, that we are going to have to do to break through this next wall of hesitancy. Anybody who wanted to get a vaccine has gotten a vaccine right now. Now we've got to dig into those people who are vaccine skeptics or hesitant.
I think her dog is a vaccine skeptic. It's in the background. Lori Lightfoot, I mean, if you want to know the epicenter of far left progressive policies and, dare I say, tactics, look to Chicago. Across the country, there have been governors who have said, there will be no vaccination cards, there will be no vaccination passes. And in Illinois, I mean, if it doesn't happen in the state of Illinois, I'm almost certain it will eventually happen in Chicago. And I'm not surprised by it at all. I don't know anyone would want to live there right now.
Glad to see new cases continuing to drop. I was looking at that during Dr. Hardeman's interview, that they dropped real hard in January and February, and they kind of plateaued. But over the last couple of weeks, we're actually getting lower and lower. So maybe we've hit that herd immunity. I don't know.
This is a little bit more from the mayor.
You will follow the CDC's guidance. What does that mean? Should people in Chicago wear masks or not?
Well, I think we've got to get some clarification from the CDC. The rollout, obviously, as the reporting was a bit abrupt. And I think they've got a lot of clarification that they need to do. I know for me personally, I'm going to continue to wear a mask in public, and I'm going to encourage others to do so. We've got to make sure that people are continuing to follow the public health guidance that has gotten us this far. And masks, I think, are a big and important part of that.
Texas. Texas.
I concur.
Well, don't do that too quickly. Okay.
Sorry. I could do that more. Texas.
What state was that, Annie?
Texas.
So Steve Scalise is saying that Biden and his administration keep ignoring the problems.
There used to be a marker on the president's desk that said the buck stops here. President Biden continues to ignore the problems, hoping that they'll go away while he creates even more crises.
Who was that? Steve Scalise?
Mm-hmm.
Biden is MIA. They truck him out on a hand dolly and put him in front of a podium, and he reads poorly some words on a teleprompter, and then he goes away. I mean, a couple of times he's answered questions. Give him credit for that. He should probably stop telling people that he's going to get in trouble for answering said questions while he is trying to awkwardly leave the podium. But there is no brain energy on any of these issues coming from Biden, and it is explicitly clear and very frightening.
Never seen a president give so many policy addresses with the first lady, where the first lady speaks sometimes more than the president. It's a little strange.
Mm-hmm. This is our last one. Lindsey Graham is commenting about the Squad weighing in on the Israel-Hamas conflict.
They're siding with a terrorist organization over a democracy. Israel provides more actionable intelligence to the United States to keep us safe than probably any single country in the world. They're a democracy. Hamas is a terrorist organization under our law. The Squad is with the terrorist. I am with the democracy called Israel.
I'm kind of like Lindsey Graham'd out. I have Lindsey Graham fatigue. I'm not really 100% sure. He was, golf buddies with Donald Trump. We got to see a lot of Lindsey Graham during the Trump era. Certainly, he found himself a nightly spot on Sean Hannity's show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
pretty much.
But for what do we have to show for this? What is Lindsey Graham's role in all of this outside of being a Carolina senator? I agree with what he said there, but I'm just having trouble taking Lindsey Graham seriously as somebody who is, I think I called Chris Christie an ambulance chaser, like the equivalent of an ambulance chaser in politics. I hear a lot of good talk. I hear a lot of good things come out of Lindsey Graham's mouth, but at the same time, here we are. It's just not really a good place. I need more action.
It's just surprising to see so many politicians have to come out and make such strong statements for Israel. This seems like such a no-brainer issue to me that Israel's our ally. They were attacked, and then we have to come out and say, well, just to be clear, we're standing with Israel. Like, it should be like, of course we are.
Have you seen the tweets that have come out from our other government officials? Rashida Tlaib, I see some who are silent as Palestinians were ripped from their homes and tear gas in their holiest mosques, now finding their voices to stand with the Israeli government as airstrikes leave Palestinian children dead. Where are your voices when Palestinians are under threat? And I could go on and on and on and on about these with Rashida Tlaib among others. And I mean, that's why they have to speak out, because there are people, counterparts of theirs, colleagues of theirs, that are speaking out aggressively against Israel in this. And I mean, like, if they don't speak out now, then we're in big trouble if we don't have people pushing back. The question is, and I would encourage people to go listen to 145-ish, maybe. We had Jonathan Schanzer on the show for the first time. He is the Senior Vice President of Research for the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, really talking about the Biden administration's hand in what is going on in the Middle East and how it's affecting how America, via the Biden administration, is a participant of sorts, financially at least, in this Hamas-Israel conflict. And it's not just Hamas. Iran is definitely a part of this conflict as well. And it was a really good conversation we had with him. You can see that on the podcast, that on the podcast by going to the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast from. Just find the Annie Fry Show, and we will have that Jonathan Schanzer interview up there for sure. You can still enter the baby pool, right? Till Sunday?
Oh, yeah. The Sunday is the last day, though. 971talk.com/contests. Get your predictions in. You could win something really sweet.
To see if they'll add the width of the baby to the contest as like a tiebreaker. It's not a standard measurement, but since we keep trying to promote this and screwing it up,
what's
the width of your baby? Wouldn't that be so weird?
Yes, it is so hard not to say it, though.
Yeah.
It's like
length and width. Yeah, absolutely. 971talk.com/contests. Go enter the baby pool and win yourself a wonderful spa package from New Season Spa and Salon. And download that podcast. We're happy to have you here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show is coming up next.
I'm not America's sweetheart, so beat the drum.